forgot. I'm Mike. Hello.
Hey.
What is up, everybody? My name is Sean Graves.
I'm Dominic.
And welcome to The Evil Hour, the all things survival horror podcast, including our experiences, thoughts, and hot takes. We are your hosts, the dudes, horror enthusiasts, and renegades of the underground. In today's episode, we will be discussing maybe something a little controversial, but
Yeah.
games we wish were better. Dom,
That's right.
this was actually, I know I came up with the idea, but this was actually a tough one for me, and I'm glad that we had the time to think about it.
Oh yeah.
And I was just gonna come in with one, and then when I saw that you had like 3 or 2, I was like, shit, I gotta come up with more than one. So I started going, and here's the thing, I'm glad that on my Twitch page, I have a Rolodex of games I completed.
Oh yeah.
And I started going back in time, going like, oh, that one.
Dude,
That
you know
one.
what I did? Very similar. So I wrote down one as well, and I was kind of like just thinking like, there has to be more. And I'm like, no, that was a good one. No, that was a good one. And I'm like, fuck, I don't really know. And actually, I did exactly what you said. I kind of looked over at my shelf. I was like, that. And then I was like, that. And then I looked on my Steam library. It was like, this. And then that's when I was like, I got it. We're done. Solid. We did it. For real.
I honestly, I had to dig. One of the games that I'll save to the very end because I know it's gonna stir some pots.
Oof.
Um,
I'm excited.
freaking. I should, like I said, I should have like we should. While we were on the 10-minute intro, I should have like just gone and got the wooden spoon, just bring it in here to stir the pot, you know. Freaking. I have a B. I guess I don't know, like if that's what we call them in the video game industry, but like B games that are not AAA, but like not D-listed. You know, I don't know how to explain that. I have one of those, and then I have 2 AAA games. Well, I don't know if I know one of them is. I don't know if the other one is. I feel like it was treated like one. And I know that the fan service of it has treated it as a almost like a return to form video game.
And for those of you that are listening right now, Sean and I have no idea what we've listed, by the way. So
no.
I'm going in this blind. I don't know what he's about to say, and he has no idea what I'm about to say. So.
You said you had 4, 3?
I technically have 4, but I'm gonna label it down to 3 because the one I'm gonna talk about is I'm not gonna go into much detail. So
okay, we'll save that one to the last. That'll be our bonus.
All right, I'm down with that.
So
I'm down with that.
Don, you have 4. You take the lead. I'll take the next one.
All right. I would like
you.
to start off on June on the Grudge for me. Those of you that are
that was last week's episode. You talked about but
so
why?
Those of you that don't know, they made a game.
Yeah.
But what was you guys?
You showed me the box art the week before last.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here going like this. Wait, you made a video game out of that?
Right.
But then like, and then if I remember you saying this correctly 2 weeks ago, you said this game particularly scared you.
Yes, it did. And
okay.
So is that what you go ask? Is why?
Why?
Okay, so that's what we brought up about last week's podcast. Is or not last week? I'm sorry, a couple weeks ago podcast was so the Grudge is terrifying to me. It was just kind of one of those things that traumatized me as a kid. My sister and parents didn't really help with that because they watched it and then they would think that'd be funny. I lived on the end of the hall and they would like crawl and croak at me, and may I remind you, I was just a little kid, and now I'm terrified for things that like fucking crawl and do that witchy shit. I don't like it, man. I'm terrified of the Grudge. But that is not the reason why I think this game could be better. The reason why I think this game could be better It's simply honestly gameplay, but I gotta respect for what it was, because if you came up to me and let's just say you made you say, hey Dom, I want to make a game about the ring.
Okay, sales pitch.
I don't
Give me an
know.
elevator pitch.
Right. Like I wouldn't want to know how I would come about that, because I know, okay, ring. She comes out of the TV. She gives you a call. How do I make a game out of that? So in this particular thing, I want to say June on the Grudge, because of everybody knows the classic horror movie. She's in the cursed house, and when you enter the cursed house, so how do you make a game out of that, right? They did, and they nailed it. I'll give it that. First level, you're in a factory, which that's fucking terrifying. Second level, you're in a hospital. Third level, you're at an apartment, and then if you collect all 3 pictures there, so you go, when you go about playing this game, you basically have a start goal and an end goal. With that being said, you also run off of battery life. So your Wii remote, it's on the Wii, by the way. Your Wii remote is a flashlight, and you walk around. So you actually walk around in the game.
Kind of like in Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
Exactly
Okay.
like that.
You
so
know,
your Wii remote is the flashlight.
I will tell you this. I experienced a moment in playing Silent Hill Shattered Memories was the first time I ever played a game that was like that. And there was a moment, there was a small moment where, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen this illusion, but you put your hand on a table, and there's a barrier right here, and they put a dummy's hand right here.
Yes.
And they
and they'll stab the dummy hand.
They'll hit it with a hammer after they brush both hands, because your brain hijacks and goes, this hand is my hand, but it's a fake hand because your hand's over here. And so, like, for a moment there, like, with that Wii remote, like, those two games, I guess, like Ju-on and Shattered Memories, Shattered Memories specifically, I had a moment where I felt that. Like, when I turned and Harry turned to look, but he was still walking forward like this, I was like, wow, I feel like I'm Harry. But then, you know, you jump, and then the remote, and then the little bar disconnect, and then it's doing this whole thing, and then you're just like, you know, and like you're like freaking out because you're trying to run away from the monsters or whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I can only imagine that Ju-on probably had that same problem too.
So so if you flick the Wii remote, because unfortunately there is QuickTime in it, so it's like go left, go left, go left, go right, and it's kind of annoying. But if you jerk it too fast, your guy would do it 360 like that, so you look behind you. But with that being said, though, is that like your flashlight is your Wii remote, and you have to go around finding batteries. And if you let the flashlight die, you die in the game, which is dumb to me. On top of that, the jump scares there's a couple good ones, right? Like there's this ones where like they'll pop out of the corner, like boo, you know. But
kind of like I was gonna say, kind of like Mortuary Assistant.
Yeah, kind of deal, right? But then while you're walking around, there's a music that'll play, and it's like, boom, and your guy would kind of look around like this, and then you know there's about to be a jump scare, and it plays the same exact song, and it does the same exact thing. Like all you hear is boom, and you're like, okay, there's about to be a jump scare, and it's so dumb, man. But with that being said, though, I do wish the game was better. Was it good? Yes. Especially if you're a horror collector and you like The Grudge, but I just wish there was more to it. But I gotta respect it for what it was, and that is why it's on the first of my list, because it was cheesy. But then again, I gotta respect for how the hell do you make a game out of The Grudge, you know?
I don't remember watching The Grudge. I probably watched it once, and then I was like, okay, I saw it, kind of like The Ring. I don't remember all the details.
That's what I was gonna get into. So the fourth level, so while you're walking around, basically, no, you're fine. You just reminded me of it, so thank you. While you're walking around, there is a start goal and an end goal. Besides your battery, or besides your flashlight dying and then you die, and besides the cheesy jump scares. So you do walk around the whole map, and then finally you get to the end, and then moral of that story is every single ending your person dies. But if you collect all the picture and then you proceed on to the next level, the fourth level is technically a secret level, and it's the actual Grudge house. So that's kind of cool. Yeah,
That's
so it's
cool.
not, so that's why I like it, because it's like, okay, there's a factory, there's a hospital, there's an apartment complex, and then you get to go to the house. And it's like, fuck, dude.
Wow.
But well, honestly, I advise you to kind of look at YouTube gameplay of it. If you guys don't know what it is, you'll understand what I mean. It puts you on edge, but you will totally understand why this is on my list of games I wish was better, though. And that's
Okay.
all I had to say about that one.
Okay, but if like out of a 5, if 5 stars was like your rating for this, how long did it
Okay.
take you to wait? How long did it take you to complete that game?
So to be fair, as me being a little bitch towards a Grudge, I actually had data on my original Wii that I've owned. So I still got the OG Wii that I first owned, and I have data all the way dating back to 2013. And believe it or not, Sean, I actually haven't completely fully beaten the game yet, as in getting the secret level, because me and my wife during COVID tried to get all the pictures and I can't find them all. Like I said, there is a start and an ending. You don't have to get the pictures to get the ending. Like either way, you still could go through the level. It's just to unlock the secret level, which is the house. You have to get those pictures. I keep on getting stuck or I'll die. And it's like, god damn it. And that was another thing too, actually. I thought I was all done. I'm sorry. The controls in that game, what the fuck? Because there's this part where like, it's kind of like the old school DVD where, you know, like if you leave your DVD player on for long, it kind of like goes like, do the DVD
Oh
emblem.
yeah.
It'll hit the corners. So there is parts like that of the game where she's by you and it's like, oh, hold your Wii remote steady, and like the circle will start out this big and you gotta keep your tiny circle within that circle. But it will move, and as it's moving, it will shrink. And there's a level on it, I won't forget. It's on the hospital level, which is the second level, may I remind you. There's a hospital level where she keeps coming after you, and the circle gets that small where it's actually your circle that you have to keep in the middle of that is actually bigger than that. And if you mess that up, you die. And may I remind you, in this game, no matter how far you are within the progression, if you die, you start all the way back into the beginning. So
Oh hell
that's
no.
a pain in the ass. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, because there has been times where I progressed, like I was stuck on level for 20 minutes and then I die, and then it's just like, well, you're back at the beginning. I'm like, dude, fuck.
Dude, that is a cardinal sin right there. I hate games that like you get so far and you know you work so hard to get even even like a step closer, and then it's like you die and it's like, okay, mother liquor, back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So that is
That's
my
a cardinal
first
sin.
one.
That is a cardinal sin in video games that I just wish were not a thing.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one.
I mean, unless if it's like a blatant like I feel like it's what's it called? Autosave laziness.
Yeah, for real. But I get it though, because per level, if you rush through it and you don't get like the secret pictures and all this stuff, I mean, granted, some levels could last you probably 10 to 15 minutes if that. So I get it, but still, it's like, it's still a pain in the ass.
Then like someone like me, I'm gonna sit here and I'll bring this up later on. Put a pin in it. I'm
Yeah.
the kind of person that like if I'm in a situation or if I'm in a new environment and I know, like, I don't know, you could say 10 to 15 minutes, I'm gonna be here like this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, and that's another thing. The walking in that game. It's just tip-toe.
Oh, I guess that wasn't like, yeah.
Bro, it
You know?
sucks. Like, you can't run in the game. You slow walk the whole time, so it's just...
Mm-hmm.
But back to your question though, you said my overall rating 5 being
Yeah.
the highest. So I'm gonna ask you about this. So when you mean by 5 being the highest, do you mean 5 as in I wish that it was better, like that game completely sucked, or do you mean 5 like it was good and the
Of
lower
like
scores?
playing no in playing like 5-star games, this is a 1, this is a 2, maybe a
Oh,
moderate
okay,
one.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'd be comfortably putting it at probably a solid 3, just for the fact that if you're over at some friend's house, you guys are into some horror stuff, it's a great game to put on for your friends, you know, maybe because that's what me and my buddy did for one of our New Year's party. He wanted to play the game. I told him I had it, and he always knew about the game, so he's like, dude, And we did. I did a level, then he takes his turn, and then he. So it was cool to get people together like that. So I would say 3 because honestly, it gave some good entertainment. It was fun for what it is, and even till this day, sometimes when I get bored and we got the Wii out, man, I'll bring it out. So it's one of those games that yes, I do wish it was better. Do I still play it? Yeah, just for the fun of it. But there could have been a lot more to it.
It's like a begrudging game.
Mm-hmm.
For
Yeah,
literally
so I
the
say comfortably
Grudge.
3.
Yeah. All right. Well,
What about you, man?
I'm gonna start off with a AAA game.
Oh, okay. Now you got my attention.
This one here, it's from Square Enix.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm coming in hard.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
not
we're talking
Final
about company now.
It's not Final
It's
Fantasy.
not Final Fantasy.
Square Enix is famous for 2 things. One is Final Fantasy, and the other one is called Final Fantasy Knockoff, aka Kingdom Hearts. And
yeah. Ugh.
and then for some reason they decided to do in the early 2010s. Yeah. A little game called Murdered Soul Suspect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never played that, but
Well,
I've seen.
I did. I did, and I was I don't know. Personally, I think this was like about maybe 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. I remember that I had the CD on me. I popped it in and just fired away on it. I'm expecting Final Fantasy Oompa, okay?
Right.
Especially for a game that was put out on the 360.
Right.
I know I'm pushing this on an Xbox One. Whatever. Point is, I'm expecting this kind of Oompa, okay? We're not talking Final Fantasy. We're not talking like Kingdom Hearts, okay? We're talking like maybe somewhere between Kingdom Hearts 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, if that was even a conversation back then.
Yeah.
So, Murder Soul Suspect as a game is about a policeman who gets killed by a serial murderer called the Bell... Something to do with bells. Anyway, the Bellman or something like that. The Bell Clocksman, whatever his name is. Anyway, this guy's been murdering people, and it's just been like this whole onslaught. And it takes place in Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh,
There's
shit.
a reason behind that, because this game, I fault them on it. I wrote down bullet points. We're going down it. So anyway, this guy gets like yeeted out of a window, gets shot by his own gun, and then he becomes a ghost. And his dead wife, because he has to have a dead wife, like James Sunderland, like any other person, you find out that like he was a rough man, that he was like against the law, but then he turned himself around because his brother-in-law got him into the police force, and now they're best bros, but like, you know,
man, this is cheesy
it's a whole thing. And like every single thing, it's like a flashback as he's dying, okay? And like every flashback is like a tattoo on his arm.
Okay.
I kid you the fuck not. Square Enix was like,
a lot of flashbacks, man.
Yeah. Right. So, he has like a near-death experience. So he has a tattoo of like, a broken, what's it called? Hourglass with like a skull coming out of it. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole thing. So, he's a ghost, and he needs to figure out who killed him. Because his wife from heaven told him so. Okay. He finds out that there's a medium in a church, okay? But also, because it's Square Enix, and it's a open, like, the whole thing is an open sandbox, but it's a directed sandbox. So you can only get from point A to point B, and in between that, it's sandboxy, but it's only sandboxy for that moment, because you still have to open up the other parts of the map, but only after you get to point B, and so it's a whole thing. And so you have to learn how to become a ghost, you know? And you learn how to become a ghost by the way of being a ghost. And
Danny Phantom.
Just less Danny and less Phantom. It wasn't even anywhere near that. So the first thing that I have with the problem with this game is that the police are inept. Totally incompetent. These motherfuckers were so stupid. Like, dead serious. It would be like, there's a plot twist involved where, come to find out, every single police officer was involved in the murder.
Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god.
Yeah.
So wait, I got a question already though, because I never seen gameplay or anything, but I seen like the
go watch my YouTube channel, okay?
But what time period was this? Because I noticed that everybody's like in the Fandora and like
okay, so it's like
or was that kind of like the detective cop thing?
That was the detective cop. So that was what was his name? He has an Irish name.
Of course.
It's not Ian. It's not Sean. It's like, he has a very specific, Irish name, and of course Irish because it's Massachusetts.
Right.
Freaking, I don't remember, but anyway, yeah, just that particular ghost or that particular protagonist. He has a very like. Early 2000s look. Like he has like a chain on the side, like for no reason. He's one of those people.
That's what I've seen.
Yeah. But like, yeah, he rocks a fedora. He has like a waist vest. You know, he's got like all the things. I'm feeling his look. I'm feeling his vibe. But Ronan. I remember now because Roanoke, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So, anyway. Ronan is our protagonist. He gets murked, and he's the only one with a fashion sense because everybody else is like early 2000s, like punk core, but like still listening to nu metal. So they are listening to Limp Bizkit, but like secretly they're trying to pass off to be like Korn fans, but no one cares. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you can tell that they're posers, but they're, you know, anyway.
Right.
Point is.
Oh, man,
point is, that is the vibe we're going for, and my first fault with this game is that the police are just completely incompetent when it comes to like literally there's like there's two cops standing over Ronan's body, and they're like, man, I don't know how this happened. And I'm like, he got murked. He got shot by his own gun.
Jesus.
This leads me into this segues me into my next bullet point. That is like the reason why this game fucking sucked. Clues and solving, which is plot driven, are moon logic.
Okay.
Okay. So if you don't know what moon logic is it's a notorious, it's described, I actually looked up the official Google definition of moon logic, because in my head, moon logic means kind of the same thing. So, moon logic is a notorious game design choice where the solution to a puzzle emerges from incomprehensible game world logic. What does that mean? It means this. I get a sandwich from the deli.
Right.
This is in my inventory sheet, and I go, or no. I grab a cup of coffee, and I'm like, wow, I like this cup of coffee. And the video game gives me an option to drink from the cup of coffee. I drink from the cup of coffee, but I didn't know that I was supposed to see you, Dom, and give you the cup of coffee. But you're not going to take it now because I already drank from it. So now I'm stuck in a situation in the game where I have to restart.
Are you kidding me?
This is a real thing. Moon logic, okay?
No. I feel like this game, and correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like this game, when you think about it, was so awesome on paper, and then they made it, and it's like...
They didn't know what to do with the clues. They gave you like a whole bunch of clues, and they were like... It would be like this. Okay, the two cops are looking down on Ronan, and they're like, man, I don't know how this guy got killed. And so it gives you like 5 options of like things that happened to you, and it's like... Well, which one of the 5 would be it? I was like, oh, gunshot. Well, I also fell out of a window. It was also the bell killer that killed me.
Yeah.
Well, all 3 of those make sense.
Oh, but you gotta pick one.
But now I gotta pick one, and you have
Oh my god.
you have 3 chances to get it right, and your score in the game changes based off of how well of a detective you are. So you have to like go and read people's minds.
We're just getting started, dude.
So
and this is already bad.
This is the very beginning of the game, man. You have to like go into people's bodies, read their minds, or you have to make them ask questions because you can't communicate to other like people like normally, you know?
Right, right.
So only certain people can you like go in and possess a little bit, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. So like I would have given up and been like, fuck it, I'm a ghost forever. Like
now the one thing I do gotta shout you out though, unlike me, is when you play a game you at least finish it no matter how bad it is. But like I give you full respect to that, because people that know me from my stream no, if I'm not enjoying this, we're ending that right now. I'm getting my refund.
Dude, there's only been like a handful, like maybe a handful of games that like I went in going like la 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 la.
Right.
I wasn't really wanting to play it. I was just like, fuck it, I just want to play a game. But there's some games that are like specifically not necessarily horror, but like in the realm of, you know, our genre that I'm just like, this is a fucking struggle bus. Like
no, but continue on with that.
Okay,
though,
yeah.
Like,
So another thing,
sold.
another thing that we have problems with, and this is again, this is like level 2 shit. We have an angsty teen who's our medium.
Oh, here we go.
And she is the only way. She's the only. Now the bill killer is after her because she's a medium. Oh, by the way, her mom's missing. You know, so we got to find her mom, and it's a whole thing. And I was just like, man, this teenager does not understand. Like, I don't have the time for your attitude. Like,
typical early 2010, like, leave me alone.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Man.
Yeah.
They probably over-exaggerated on that a little bit.
Also, like, the far and few between times that it was quote-unquote a horror game, it wasn't even really a horror game. Yes, some, like, imagery is a little bit, you know, rated R, PG-13 at best.
Right.
Then, like, I don't know who was that development team, but I think somebody watched Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Because
you know, it's funny, I just watched that last week.
The hooded
That's
monsters.
Weird that you mentioned that.
The hooded monsters that like suck the souls out or whatever. They make an appearance in this video game. So I think that there was a correlation between Square Enix looking at what
Harry Potter
J.K. Rowling was doing, and we're like, oh, let's make monsters off of that. So the only
Death Eaters, that's what they're called.
Death Eaters, yeah. So the Death Eaters are pretty much your bad guys in this whole game, because they kind of like walk around, and you have to creep up behind them and tear their souls apart. But if you fuck that away with a quick time event, because who loves?
Of course, there's fucking quick time.
Who loves QTEs? Who made QTEs a thing?
Yeah.
Quick time events, like,
oh man,
this was tis peak quick time event time, man. And so yeah, if you fuck that part away, you have to run away as a ghost, and you have to hide yourself in like these beams of light, and just hope that this monster thing doesn't try to find you. So you have to jump between lights, and it's a whole thing. The game was a fucking nightmare.
This is getting rough, dude.
And like I said earlier on, I kind of buried the lead on this one, but it takes place in Salem. So the only thing that I think people at Square Enix knew about Salem is that it's in America, it's in Massachusetts, and it had something to do with, quote, witches, but it did not...
I was gonna say, the Salem witch trial.
So the medium teenager is allegedly a witch. Her mom is allegedly a witch. They're all from the witches of Salem, and I'm like sitting here dying inside going, that is not what the Salem witch trials were about. Like, it's a tiny, like, as I've gotten older, I've realized, like, when we were talking about the Salem witch trials in high school,
Yeah.
I feel like either it was me being a teenager and going like, ooh, witchcraft, and I was being an idiot, and now I'm older and going like, it had nothing to do with really witches. Salem witch trials historically dealt with the Puritans and the Putnams, I believe. And so pretty much the haves and the have-nots, the people who lived on the hill and the people who lived in the valley. And these two groups of people who lived in Salem, they were pretty much clashing, okay? And so when you have people who also had slaves from other parts of the world, one in particular, her name was Tituba. She came from the Isles down south of Florida. And when she came up to Massachusetts, she brought a lot of her culture with her. This was very exotic.
Gotcha.
And so these, you know, teenagers and these young girls and these young boys are learning about other people's cultures from over yonder. And it's like, okay, there's that. And then it turns into, well, my daughter has scratch marks. It must be a witch. Oh, my daughter, you know, confessed to a witch being in the town because she's convulsing in, you know, the courtroom. And so it just turned into literally a quote-unquote witch hunt where not only women were being persecuted and killed, but men were being persecuted and killed. And, I mean, the ways in which these people were being killed were just off the fucking chain. And Square Enix took all that information and went, no, the teenager who's an angst is a witch, and yeah, people got hung, yeah, people drowned in water, yeah, people got stones laid on top of them, but, you know, aside from all that, you're still a ghost, you know, like...
Right.
We're not even gonna, like, we're not gonna go too deep into this, so, you know, and the town of Massachusetts that they set up is really small at the end of the day, so... They didn't really do like they did like a, here's a spot, here's a spot, here's a spot, here's a spot, here's a spot. Best of luck to you. Oh, by the way, load screens. And, like, you know, at the same time, Dom, like there was a couple of games that came out and one of which was called Prototype. And it actually took place.
Prototype.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And Prototype did actually a really good job of like actually scaling New York out.
Oh, yeah.
And Square Enix couldn't pull that out of their ass for Salem, Massachusetts. Okay, like we're talking about the same people.
At the time of Prototype.
We're talking about the same people who are Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. Like,
wow.
This is their own little IP that they just kind of, you know, shout out one day. And just, I don't know if it was B team. I don't know if it was C team. I don't know if it was D team. I don't know what team it was.
Somebody
but like,
fucked it up.
And then they still went with it.
Wow. So I'm gonna ask you the same question that you asked me, which I kind of like because I didn't even think of it. What's your rating on that one?
This was a design choice. This was a design choice. It's not even like, it doesn't even get a star. It doesn't even get a star. It's like a negative star here. It was a design choice, man. Like I expected so much more from Square Enix as a company.
Yeah.
And I don't do Final Fantasy. I don't do MMO, RPG, LMNOP, LGBTQIA+, you know, whatever. Pick an alphabet letter, put it into a video game, and give it to me. Yeah, no, man. I don't. No. No. I thought that when I saw Murdered Soul Suspect, I was like, oh shit, fuck. The companies that do LMNOP video games or whatever they're called pushed out a horror game. Yeah, like they did a little something different, and I was just like,
honestly, I'm glad I never actually got around to play that one, because honestly, from the cover art and everything, like it looks great. It really does. But Jesus Christ, I'm glad I skipped out on that one.
A lot of the storyline is contrived. You can see it coming from a mile away. A lot of the plot twists, you're just kind of like, again, like I said, the way that you do the clues and all that stuff, it's like, this does not make shit. Like, it doesn't make sense.
The whole, like, you could do a little bit of sandbox right here, but then, like, that is so dumb.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even sound good on paper.
No. No.
And they were like, yeah, we're gonna roll with that.
Right. Yep.
Wow.
All right,
Fucking
how about
A,
you,
man.
dude?
All right, well, for my next one, and I was a little scared if you were going to bring this one up. So if this is on your list, you are more than welcome to join me on this. But for mine, Stray Souls. Right off the rip.
Actually,
Stray
no, I
Souls.
avoided that one a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great thing.
I wanted to, but I was like,
So,
no, not yet.
I'm gonna start for a personal view real quick.
Okay.
Saw the trailer,
Mhm.
was hype. I won't ever forget this. I was at work when I seen this shit, and I was like, whoa. And then, luckily enough, when I seen the trailer, it's coming out next week.
Yep.
You could pre-order it. So that's what I did. I got home, I even showed my wife. I was like, dude, look at this. And she was even like, oh, that looks fucking good. Like, they nailed that fucking trailer. Game comes out. I'm excited. I rush home from work and I fucking hop on my PC. And this is one of the games that I brought up earlier to you. I did not even attempt to finish it. I ended this bitch really quick as soon as possible. So right off the gateway, the character designing, man, it's 2023. Oh, now 24, but at the time, it's 2023. Why the fuck is the audio off from the mouth movement? My question. Yeah. That's what, and that's how they talk too. All of them, like they don't actually move their mouth. They move it up and down. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? First off, though, the one A+ I'll even give this game, the fucking music they have it. And actually, you told me the music designer is, I can't say his name, I'm sorry.
Akira Yamaoka.
Okay. Oh, that's it. So those of you that don't know that, that is the, how can I say it? You know. That
He is the sound designer, musician, and lead sonic designer for our beloved video game series Silent Hill up until Silent Hill Downpour. And Silent Hill
really? I didn't know that.
He didn't do Silent Hill Downpour, he didn't do Book of Memories. Those were done by Daniel Licht, who you would know his music from watching the TV series Dexter.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But no, so the songs in that game is made by him, and let me tell you what, dude, those were fantastic.
Yep.
I can't say that better off, dude. They're even to this day. I actually go back and listen to the Stray Souls soundtrack because it's that damn good.
Well, now I need to go find this because I haven't heard any of the music.
It is good. But
I can only imagine. I can only imagine that like his music is just as on point, if not better.
Oh no, this is different. That's why I love it so much. That's why when you told me who it was, it's more rock style, and he nailed the guitars, bro. Like he metal as fuck, dude. And I'm like, yes.
Well, see, and that's what I was telling you is that like his music style. If you think about it, listen to Portishead, and listen to Nine Inch Nails. Put that as a playlist, and you've got Silent Hill.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You actually showed me that after our podcast. I think it was actually after our first. Yeah, it was after our first one.
I think so. Yeah. God, that was so long ago now.
I know, right? But no, so we're not here for the music though, as we all talked about. We're here for the gameplay. So gameplay.
Sorry about that.
The gameplay is fucking horrendous. So you start off in this house that you just moved into. I believe I might say this wrong because I really just lost memory of that whole game out of my head.
Okay, I had a poll. What was his name?
Rowan.
I had to pull Rowan's name out of my ass just like 30 minutes ago. So.
But I believe it's of his dead mother or grandmother, right? And you move into this house, and I guess your neighbor notices you and was like, "Hey, like somebody actually lives here now." Somehow get your number. I forget. Oh no, you're talking on a dating app.
Oh, okay.
He was on a dating app. Come to find out, it was his neighbor. Right, and they were kind of like, that house is haunted, and he's just like, "What do you mean by haunted?" Cheesiest jump scare right off the rip. He turns around, and it's so slow too. He like turns around, and there's this door.
Was it like this?
Yeah, literally. Just like turns around in his chair, and he looks at the door, and all you see is this lady going, and she like just creeps back. And I shit you not, that happens like 3 times while you're adventuring through this house, because now there's clues you gotta go find about how is this house haunted, where's your grandma at, how did she die, something like that. I forget. Okay. And like while you're just traveling around, those are the jump scares in the house. It's just and then it goes back. I'm like, what?
Wow.
And I started going downhill to the point I was forcing myself to play this game. May I remind you, this is on day 1, so the puzzles didn't make sense. I even tried looking it up. Of course, with it just coming out, there was nothing on it. The first puzzle I remember was a children's ABC block, and it was, I think the puzzle was I want you home. I think it was, but I couldn't figure out to save my life. I was flipping, and normally like you could like spell it out, like, oh, there's the A. No, like these blocks, like normally on a child's block, I think there's, now I can't think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 sides. I swear to God, like I might be over exaggerating. I swear to God, there was like 8 or 9 like of it. Like every time you turn it, it was like, oh, there's a V, oh, there's an H, there's an A, and I'm like, this makes no fucking sense. Like, shouldn't it be like A, B, C, D, right?
Yeah.
No, it kept on flipping. So like, there's the H, and then it'll flip again. Oh, there's an I. I'm like, what the fuck? So I finally figured it out, and then after that, I remember like something was happening and he was running out of the house. The girl that he apparently was talking to, and he was trying to get her name, but she was like giving very little detail because, oh, they just matched it on Tinder type shit. She breaks in the fucking house and was like, you need to come with me right now. And then it cuts to like a new scene, and then they're out in the woods. I shit you not, that's where I ended the game, because then the music was off. Their mouth, when they were talking, then their mouse wasn't even moving in the car. And Sean, I shit you not only I thought this was a bad game, the game was so bad that they actually removed it from Steam and gave everybody a refund because it was that bad and did that terrible. Yeah.
Sounds
and
like...
I was pissed because, may I remind you, this was a $25 game.
Okay, so give me a heads up here, and just,
yeah,
was this a vanity project that they just so happened? I feel like this is a vanity project that they just so happened to get someone who has like a name, i.e. Akira Yamaoka. Like, for example, like, you know Steven Seagal, right?
Yeah.
He writes, he produces, he films, he acts in his own films, but then he has like, I don't know, Metallica. He bought the rights to one Metallica song and he just uses it throughout the whole movie.
I didn't know that.
No, he doesn't. But like, I'm just saying, like, hypothetically,
okay.
This feels like a Steven Seagal film.
Yeah.
And he just bought the rights to like one Metallica song, like Inner Sandman, and like he named the movie Inner Sandman. And he just uses like the beginning, like dun 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 throughout the whole song because he paid for it, so he could still use it through the whole film. And he probably like used it for like the beginning credits and the ass end credits. I feel like this video game was a pipe dream, like vanity project. And
that was like another thing is like, so the story wasn't even making sense because as you were trying to find clues on how your, again, I think it was your grandma, how your grandma passed away, it didn't even follow that because you'll find a clue and he goes, oh, this was, I don't know, let's just say her attic key. And then you go into the attic and then it was just like, oh yeah, I gotta text that girl again. Oh yeah, this is what happened in my life and this is what my mom did. Oh yeah, and I'm like, so what about your grandma? And then like, that's when like everything was coming around. She's like, you gotta come with me right now. I'm like, what about your grandma? Like, wasn't we trying to find clues about your grandma? And actually, it's funny that you brought that up about it being a vanity game because they didn't claim it was or not, but with technology being technology, a lot of people were actually claiming that it was AI generated and they didn't admit it was or wasn't. So that's why, like, as soon as people were saying like this is AI generated, like there's no way that somebody that's when they cut all ties, went silent, and gave everybody a refund, took the game off. So I don't know if that was kind of like, oh shit, they caught on, or
I heard
like,
that
I heard that
when you so I didn't know that you were gonna bring this game up, but I heard that the overall story arc,
yeah,
was a complete rip up and like copy paste of
Oh.
the radio broadcast from Silent Hill PT.
Yeah, I
I
did
heard that
hear
that was a
that.
thing. I saw on YouTube a YouTuber that just does rando like this is what the game's about. And
Right.
it didn't take him very long to go, hey, so you know that whole like radio broadcast at the beginning about the guy who walks in and murders his wife and murders the sister and then or no, murders the brother at point blank, goes into the bathroom, coaxes her
Oh
out,
yes,
shoots
they
her.
showed that in the beginning. That's right. I
So
totally skipped over that.
instead of your imagination putting the pieces together of like what happened via radio broadcast, you just got a
Right.
cutscene of what happened. I don't feel like
Yeah.
that's scary at all.
Yeah, no, that plays right at the beginning. It's just some guy like cleaning a shotgun. He like kills
Yeah.
all children and then like his wife or something. I forgot about that until you brought that up.
Yeah,
And,
and
again, when I was first playing this game, booting that up and seeing that, like I was on edge. I was like, no fucking way, this is gonna be good. And like it was slowly just going like.
Did you notice?
Oh,
Like, did you
man.
notice when you saw that was kind of PT-ish, or did that not
I
click?
didn't even play. I did not even click that.
No.
Because it's funny though, because I actually played PT, but I'll be honest with you, I was 14 years old when I played PT. I didn't even listen to the radio broadcast, so that was one thing I actually missed. So it's funny that you said that now because like that's actually pretty cool. I didn't even know that. I thought it was just some fucked up person. I thought somebody. I heard it was too. That's why I'm so mad at myself because I heard that actually the radio guy is actually telling you, hey. But no man, the trailer though, I'll get in a little deep dive of that. The trailer, they nailed it though, just like any other trailer, movie, game, whatever. Bro, the metal that was playing into it, the effects, the fucking like the drama in it. And then next thing you know, like of course, like while they're like, we gotta figure this out, then it's like it shoots to a cutscene of him like just fucking up monsters. Boom, boom, boom. And then I found out, I'm glad that I didn't get to that part. I found out when you're actually exploring through the woods and like hell breaks loose and you do fight the monster, it takes one bullet to kill them every single time. It's just boom, and then they vanish. Boom, they vanish. Boom, and a lot of people were complaining about that because they're like, it's not even a challenge. It's literally just a point to click. And I was like, that's dumb. I didn't make it to that part. I made it to the woods and that's when I got my refund back. I actually ended the stream right there too. I was like, this isn't what it was supposed to be and I'm sorry.
Wow.
So with that being said, my rating for that, I would agree with you on your first one, dude. I can't give it a rating. It was terrible. Hell, it was so terrible for them. They fucking took it off the market.
It was a design choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what
man.
about you, man?
Dude,
What's your next one? I'm curious.
Well, damn. This is a B movie.
Okay.
This is a whole B game. Just here's the thing. After Silent Hill PT, segue, there was a lot. I feel like survival horror kind of started like writing coattails on PT
Right.
because we wanted
Oh,
Silent
yeah.
Hill PT in 2014. And
Oh, yeah.
unfortunately for me, I was on deployment, and when I saw playable teaser as a teaser, it wasn't even the full game.
Right.
I saw the teaser online. I was in Bahrain, okay? I had the shittiest internet that 2014 had to offer on a telephone that wasn't even like connected to AT&T wires, okay?
Oh man.
And I am like, man, this is where video games are going today. Oh my gosh, I am
yeah.
stoked. I'm excited. Like, this is gonna be
Oh,
awesome,
yeah.
right? I have not found a video game that is a walking first-person simulator except for Resident Evil, but put a pin in that because Resident Evil has been writing the coattails of Silent Hill as well. Okay, those
Right.
two go neck to neck all the time.
Oh
So
yeah.
I feel like for what Silent Hill PT fans wanted, you got it in Biohazard and Village. This game, on the other hand, is called The Town of Light. I played it all in one
Oh.
stream.
Yeah, so this is one game I actually played through, and I forced myself to play through this one.
Hey, I'm just gonna say this. It's another walking simulator.
Yeah.
You know?
It was so terrible too because again, I'm gonna butt in here. I'm sorry,
No,
but
go ahead. Go ahead.
the cover art, like I actually bought it on disc. They had it
Mm.
for disc, by the way, and the cover art was so awesome. Then you flip it around, and it looks like a genuine horror game, terrifying as fuck. And then when you're reading the description on the background, like you're this person, blah blah blah, and it's like, oh shit, I bought this game, and I'll let you finish it up because yeah, I was highly. It wasn't even a horror game, bro.
I don't know what to call this. I call it a walking simulator. That's all I've got for this, okay? Because again, the zeitgeist of the moment for horror until, I think just as of recent, I think that a lot of the horror, like the horror genre is so stuck in first person mode with like layers of fear, freaking the Blair Witch Project, again, Resident Evil, they come out with fire on Biohazard and Village.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm not a Resident Evil fan at all. Like, I actually do not like Resident Evil, but Biohazard and Village was pretty damn good. I'll give them that. And see, I'm not a hypocrite about it because I still actually give Resident Evil games a try. But that's what caught my attention was the first person in that because actually I love first person.
And also, like, I mean, it's not that Silent Hill PT did it first. Silent Hill 4 did it first,
Right.
So it wasn't the whole
minds.
Right. And like again, like it was a feature. It wasn't the whole game, right? And so unfortunately, this game, you're a walking simulator. You're walking through this abandoned asylum in Tuscany. And you don't really have a reason why, but you just walk in, and I was like, oh, well, it's kind of like Ghost Adventures.
See, that's what I was thinking too, because it's so terrifying.
But so my first like hurdle that it fails on is that again, it's a Silent Hill 2, or I'm sorry, Silent Hill PT boondoggle, right? The second part is that the scares fade away really, really fast after getting used to the environment. And that right there is another one of those pillars of things that you just do not F around with. If I'm in, like, and at first, like I'm saying, like, at first I was like, okay, uneasiness, I don't know the layout of the place, and I'm walking around randomly. And then as you're exploring the story, parts of the asylum open up. And yeah, it's a effed up story. There's like you actually do a lobotomy on on your character. I honestly remember doing this click, and you feel the chunk in it. I even had like my eyes like this, go like click,
Right.
And I think I really did screw up the lobotomy because I think you were supposed to bend the needle around. And hit the girl's brain because like it tells you how to do it, but I was like, I don't care. We're just look. She's gonna be brain dead anyway. Click, 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 click. Like I'm just like pounding a needle into this girl's like brain. Like I was my own survival horror in that moment.
Right.
But yeah, no, really, it was not even a psychological horror game. Like it was sold as a psychological horror game, and like there was nothing psychological or horror about it. If it's a psychological horror game, like, here's what I think makes a psychological horror game a psychological horror game. You don't know that the game is playing against you, okay?
Yeah.
And we'll take it all the way back to 2000 with Silent Hill 2. It felt like the city was effing around with you. Not just the monsters, not just the environment, not just the storyline. It felt like the city itself was a monster playing with you too. And I think that gets I think that's get lost in like the development team when it comes to psychological horror games, is that it's not even like you have a screwed up character, you have a storyline, you have support characters, if any. But then your environment is also a character too. So treat it as a character,
Well, and the thing that I'm going to say about the Town of Light, at least for me, I would like to give my standpoint of view on it. So those of you that personally know me through my side, of the internet is that I am a multiplayer guy. That's all I play is multiplayer games. I rarely play story mode games because I'm very harsh on story mode. One, I just gotta be in the mood for it. Two is you gotta catch my attention. And if I lose that attention in 10 minutes, you're done pretty much. And you know, I understand like games like, oh well, just wait till you get to this part, this level, and blah blah blah. It's one of those things. And at least from my point of view, dude, the Town of Light, and maybe you can't agree with it, but at least on my side, the Town of Light story was so dull. It was boring.
It really was.
Yeah, like it had my attention at first when you're reading about this fucked up story. Like, oh, okay. And then it's like the next page is like, oh, well, on January 15th. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And then it's like, oh, well, January 13th. It's like, oh, I get it. Like,
yeah, there was a moment.
Was so
you're right.
Dull.
You're right. There was a section in that game where I didn't realize that there was diary entries to go through.
Yeah, there is.
And like at first, like it kind of piqued my interest, going like, oh wait, like there's diary entries. Okay, let's learn more about this character. But it just kept on going on. I felt like I was reading or being narrated. I felt like I was being narrated like a classic 2000 emo kid.
Yeah.
Who's just going through it, but instead of 2000, it's 1940 something, and it's probably during, or post World War II in Tuscany, and you know, like, ooh, let's be edgy and let's make them this character a lesbian, you know?
Don't get me wrong, man. It's like back in those times, yes, I get it. Like the asylums were fucked up because at one point, as you would know, they talk about how they did the I forget the actual term of it, but like the ice bath thing. Yes. Where they would stick you in the ice bath, and they mentioned that in the game, and that actually is a real thing, you know. But in my head, it was like just like what you were saying. It was too edgy, and it's just like, okay, I get it. Like they fucked you up, but it's like it was just dragging because, like I said, it was like day 1, day 2, day 3, and I was like, I understand, like. And again, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I know that shit actually happened way back when, as much as you do. Like, the doctors were fucked up back then to mentally ill patients.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
With that being said, when you're dragging the story out just like that, it becomes dull. And it's just like, dude, like, I get it. Like, just move on. Not move on from what happened to you. Move on with the progression of the game, man. It's like, come on. What is the next part? And it's just like day 5, like, oh, now the doctor said I can't have my sandwich. It's like, oh my God, we're still talking about this. I'm sorry, that's all I had to say.
No, but it's so true though, because like, you know, with some storylines, with some video games, like, you know, you got story exposition, but you got story exposition in small little bites that were like short, quick, to the point, but like it had its moment. You know what I mean? And then you carry on with it, you know? You add that little bit of seasoning, salt, pepper, you know, whatever it is, garlic. Like, you're adding these little seasonings along the way in your food, your storyline, you know? And it's like, I feel like you're right. Yeah, it's, Town of Light, like, it just suffered really hard at just pushing exposition so freaking hard.
That's what it was.
That, like, it was just struggle busing. It was just literally struggle busing based on its storyline. And then last but not least, it also suffered because it's not a big world per se, like the overall asylum, because I beat the game at the end of the day, right? Like I stuck through that thing. I was like, you know, it's a typical. No. I mean, I was working weekends, so like I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, right? And I think it was like a Tuesday or something like that when I was playing this game, and I was just like, okay, well, I've got 4 hours. Let's play this game, right? And I'm literally in the basement wandering around because I have no idea where to go to next.
Yeah.
It like
that was my struggle within the game too. Is there was no hints, there was no nothing.
And like you don't even have a map. That's another thing that like I feel like some games I'm just sitting here going like, wait, really? It's 2023 and we can't even like put a map interface? I have to go to a wall over here, you know, and then go forward and then come back to make sure that I went to the right place, but then go all the way back over there because I was like one door off, you know? Like, it was a whole thing.
I agree with you, man. That one sucked.
And like some of the things to get yourself even forward was like, again, moon logic, where like at the very beginning you had to go and grab like the doll in like one of the examination rooms and then take it downstairs and then take the wheelchair, bring it upstairs, and then you had to put it in the light, and then after that, like moon logic. Who would have fucking thought that that was the way you're supposed to do things? Like, I get adventure games get away with that, but like you like unless it in some adventure games, they have a moment where like the person you're playing as goes, I should really go get that coffee cup. It would be really nice to get that coffee cup. And you're like, oh shit, I need to go get that coffee cup. But then you get the coffee cup and you're like, I can drink this? And then bam, we're, you know, monkey fucking ourselves because we didn't realize that we were supposed to give the coffee cup to you, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or put it in that specific room or, you know, whatever with it, you know? So Town of Light, if you want like a really casual, like, you know, things happen, but like a casual things happen in a room with a narrative, I give it 2 stars.
Okay.
If you just want like it's a great walking simulator, so 5 stars on that. But it like just sucks if you're going in here going like,
sucks.
If I told you, oh hey man, psychological horror game that takes place in 1942 Tuscany, and you're exploring an asylum that is abandoned, I'm sold.
Oh yeah, that sounds bad fucking ass, dude. Right out the rip, like you said.
Right. What we got was completely different, okay?
No,
like...
that was not 1940. It felt like it was going to take me all the way back to 1942 just to beat the fucking game, like.
Oh, and that's another thing is that it actually, there was a moment in the game, remember when I told you, like, you know, the whole, like, if I drink the cup of coffee, I'm screwed? There was a moment in the game where it actually did that to me. What? Yeah, so this is like way later on in the game. You wake up and you're like outside and there's like a cemetery. And you have to go into the mausoleum inside the cemetery, right?
Okay, yeah.
Well, there's a gate behind you. So I was like wandering around going like, oh, wow, great like cemetery. Wow, great tombstones. Wow, what's in this mausoleum? Oh, wow, candles. Right. Wonder who lit those. And I was like, okay, I'm done doing things. And I walked out of the cemetery and the gates closed behind me.
Ah, shit.
So I couldn't go back inside because the game thinks if I walk out, I initiated the cutscene for me to get to where I need to go next. And then the game goes, oh, you didn't initiate that cutscene. You're outside of the cemetery and you need to go and hit the other cutscenes on your way back to the asylum. Those cutscenes don't initiate, so you can just wander around the whole place.
I ain't gonna lie though, for visual in that game, I liked it. It looked cool. It looked good.
It had 3 dimensions.
It looked fantastic.
Yeah, it had that mix between 3-dimensional like walking simulator, like good visuals, good things.
Right.
But and then like when the cutscenes happened, it was like 2-dimensional. It almost felt like a comic book, almost like what do you call it, like Sin City kind of look to it. And I liked that. It didn't need to be animated. It didn't need to be grandiose. It was like, it was very well presented, and I'm not gonna knock it for that. But as as the final product, I was just like, I don't even, like, I'm 4 hours deep, and I should not feel comfortable being in an asylum that's abandoned. There's a problem here.
Yeah, that's exactly, you nailed that right on the head. That's exactly how I felt. Like, it just felt like I was bored being in this asylum and the other shit. I'm like, it should be on edge. Like dude, you're in a fucking haunted asylum.
Penhurst Asylum in Pennsylvania should not feel comfortable to me, okay?
Right.
Like, I should be like, even day or night, no matter full moon, new moon, whatever, I should be on edge the minute I walk through those doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
So yeah, Town of Light, nah.
Yeah. So my third one, this might cook up some people. but
I'm ready.
Before I say it, though, I will give it this: the first game, and this is a horror classic. Let me tell you, like classic, on point. The first game and the second game, masterpieces. You killed it. I love you to death for being part of my childhood, and I can't thank you enough for being part of my childhood. The third game, which we will be talking about today, is Fatal Frame: Curse of the Black Water. Not a fan, man. Not a fan. I'm still trying to beat the game on my stream right now and upload it to my YouTube gameplays. And if you guys noticed, actually my last upload on that game I think was like 10 months ago, so almost a year since I played that game. Because it just sucks. I'm sorry for all you people, but Curse of Blackwater, Fatal Frame fucking sucks, man. Like it the first like I said, Fatal Frame, the first one, beautiful. Don't even get me started on the Crimson Butterfly. That one, amazing.
Yeah.
But,
I've heard so much about the Crimson Butterfly one. That's the one with the two twins, isn't it?
Yeah. Dude,
that's a really great storyline.
So good.
Yeah.
But no, this one, man, like I'll give it this. How about this? So you start off like I can't really tell you much about the story because it's been so long since I played it. But you start off in like this like abandoned fucking apartment that's like crumbling, like even like the structural integrity of the whole game is awesome, man. Like so you start off in like abandoned, like I would say it's an apartment, dude, terrifying, holy shit. And there is scary parts where like you turn a corner and then there's a ghost and you gotta take a picture. Fucking I jump scared, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. The jump scares are good, the cutscenes are good, the fucking oh, how do I want to say it, the environment is awesome. Is awesome. The storyline fucking sucks. And the second part is like, you're pretty much, the best way I could describe it, and I hate to bring it up like this way, the second part where you go into is pretty much like Suicide Forest, dude. That shit puts you on edge. It's the moment you enter that place, because there's also an abandoned building in there that you have to go into, which is called the Dollhouse. And holy shit, like I'm terrified of like those pretty much like mannequins, but they're the Japanese dolls, bro. Those come to life in that house. Holy fuck.
I have recently, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've been playing what's that game called, Demonologist.
Yeah
Okay, so by the way, extending an invite because we need 4 players. Sometimes our 4th player like doesn't show up, so you know.
Oh, you know me, man. I'll be there.
Bringing it out there. And we've only gotten to like 5 out of I think the 8 areas in Demonologist, and they're still making other like parts of the map out. And my friends and I have been playing for like probably like a good month or so. And we came up with this idea, and I was like, you know, we should probably email like the dev team out on this one. Just say like, hey, here's a suggestion, like, you know, throw it out there.
Right.
The Death Forest.
Okay.
Right?
That would
like
be
that
badass.
would like we were like talking about it like, you know, haunted house, you know, hospital, haunted farmhouse. Like these are kind of like, you know, rando specific, but like also.
And I hate to say it, very common in horror. You know?
Right, yeah, and especially with ghosts. And I was saying they're like, but a forest, yeah, like that would be, especially when you're running randomly between trees and you don't know where you're headed to.
Oh yeah, game changer, man. Because besides, and again, those of you that listen to our podcast and everything, if you know another game that does that, then my bad. But the only game that I could think about right off the top of my head that you're in like a forest like that, honestly, is like the classic old Slenderman games. You know,
Blair Witch does that.
Oh, I forgot
Blair
about
Witch
that.
does that.
Blair Witch.
And there was this other one that like I think I saw the preview for it and I was like, it's a first-person game, and I have to like, I'm scared for myself because it's like I think it's called like 30 seconds or something like that, or 30 like. You literally have to survive in the woods and just roam around with like your little cameras going like.
Oh, you talking about Don't Scream?
Don't scream. Yes.
Dude, that game's
Yes.
fucked. I haven't played it yet, and I can't. But yeah, you have to survive 2 minutes, and you have to keep on walking because
2
the moment that you
minutes.
stop walking, the timer stops.
Right.
So that's a fucked up game. And your mics, those of you that don't know that game, your microphone's actually connected to it. So if you make a sound, your guy dies, and you gotta restart the timer and do everything.
Demonologist does the same thing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I
like
like
that's
that.
why like I'm holding the spirit box and going like, "Hey ghost, are you there?"
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what I
like
mean?
that.
But like
I
also
that.
like, you know, with us talking like right now, like the game is like, you know, whatever ghosts are like attracted to mass people being together. The game knows like, okay, there's a lot of people here. Oh, this one went over here. So maybe the ghost goes
that's
after.
cool.
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know Demonologist was like that.
The game is on fire, man. Like I'm
I
not
need to
saying
get on that.
I'm a Phasmophobia fan, Demonologist. I just got Demonologist because it was like $8 one day, and I was like, okay, sold.
Right.
But like, it's really changed my. I mean, I've been looking for a survival horror game that is multiplayer,
Oh yeah.
just for friends to get scared in, and I think that Demonologist nailed it. I'm sorry to take that away from your Scary Forest thing, but it popped an idea from, you know, a conversation that my friends and I were talking about, like as a level design. That would be fire. That would be fire.
No. A little off topic here while we're on that real quick before I get back into this is
Sure.
actually they're making a Don't Scream multiplayer. It's actually called Don't Scream multiplayer, and I was like, that would be kind of a cool concept. So yeah, we're gonna have to definitely do that. I'm down for that shit. But no, I, again, like this is off topic, but I just want to throw these games out here while we're on that.
Yeah.
The games that are following under like observation duty and Don't Scream, it's kind of getting a little annoying to me because it's kind of spiraling down the Phasmophobia vibe is what I would like to say, where everybody's trying to make the same exact game as the game that already exists. Not saying that towards Demonologist, I'm saying that more towards Don't Scream, because now I go on my Steam account and now that's all I'm seeing is like, oh, this is like Don't Scream. It's literally the same thing, just not Don't Scream. And then it's like, that's now what those games are coming to. Like, you ever seen I'm on observation, dude? Yeah, exactly. Like it goes
Outlast,
down the PT spiral.
Layers of Fear, Blair Witch.
There's been so many games that have like PT vibes to it. Like you enter. Actually, granted, I know that was a Silent Hills thing, but the new Silent Hill, the short message, did a PT thing where you kept on walking through the door. And it was the same thing. It just kept on changing. I'm like, bro, why are we? I hate when games have to copy off other games, and that's where those games are heading towards.
Speaking of the short message, do you feel like that was a spur of the moment? Hey, you know, us as fans have been waiting for PT something. Here's something.
I'll give you this. I'm glad they gave that game for free. Mad respect to it. Was it good? Yeah. Would I play it again? Maybe. But I'm not gonna lie though, I wish there was more to the story, and for how short the story was, it was good. I gotta say that, and with it being free, I can't complain. Was it Silent Hill though? Absolutely fucking not. That did not, nothing gave me Silent Hill vibes.
Yeah, like honestly, like I was trying to figure out like, where are we located here? Are we located at a specific hospital? Like which hospital? Is it a sanitarium? Brookhaven, Alchemilla, like where are we located?
Even the
here?
monsters and everything. A good game. I'm not dissing it, but not Silent Hill. I will say that though. But the story was good. The gameplay was good. Besides the last part really fucked me up. If you've seen that, I spent like 30 minutes to an hour on that last part. I struggled hard, but no, like it was good. It just not Silent Hill good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, back to my Fatal Frame thing though.
Yeah, Fatal Frame, man.
The story, man, is dull to me, dude. Like, and that's all it's going to, because it is Fatal Frame. I'll give it that. It's not like Silent Hill: The Short Message, where you're playing a game and it doesn't feel like Silent Hill. It is Fatal Frame. It's good. Like I said, everything around it is good. It's just the story just fucking it just sucks. Like that's the best way I could describe it. It's not Fatal Frame. Like you said.
It's like a reduction. like a reductive.
Yeah, like
yeah.
like you mentioned about the twin girls on Curse of now I can't even think of it. Crimson Butterfly.
Crimson Butterfly,
And
yeah.
yeah, they kind of stuck with that. Where this one, I'll be honest with you, dude, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. I totally forget, because it's one of those things where it's just like, okay, why are we here? Like, actually,
Yeah.
I believe you're trying to find out the message of how did your friend die or something like that. It's your best friend. There's some connection there. I remember that. But when you're going through this, you're like, I'm playing Fatal Frame. But then, like, a cutscene will happen. It's like, oh yeah, my best friend. I totally forgot about that. And that's how it feels like every single level. But with that being said, though, the levels are great. The cutscenes and story just sucks. And, I haven't beaten the game yet. I am still continuing to force myself to play it. But I came up to a cool-ass, like, fog woods. I remember there's a trolley that you start and it's going to take you down. I haven't got to that part yet. I wonder if you're going to be in the woods, like a daytime fog woods. That's going to be cool if that's where that leads up to. So I'm kind of being biased here, saying that the story sucks, but from what I'm seeing, man, I'm not about it. At the end of the day, it is a Fatal Frame game, and I can respect it for that. And like I said, everything about it is really good. The story mode, you could have done better, man, because if it's taking me 10 months to come back to even finish this game, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's
it's sad.
If you keep me, yeah, that's sad. That's really, really sad, especially if it's something like so simple as like giving the player a reason to be here today.
Yeah, it really is, man. But with that being said, though, out of 5 stars, I would be comfortable with saying a 3.2, maybe just a 4, just for what it is. As in, like I said, the visuals, the jump scares, the Fatal Frame-esque feeling, just the environment, especially, dude, is so awesome. But besides that, I would be comfortable giving that 3.5, maybe a 4.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right. All right.
It's high up there, but it's just that story is what's keeping that 5-star.
Damn, that sucks.
So, what about your last one now?
Mine, I should have.
Right? Is this the last one? Okay,
This is my last one. This is the only one that I could think of. I don't know. You kind of brought up some points on Town of Light there, and
yeah.
What was the other one? Before Soul Sus. No, not Soul Suspect.
Junon?
No, after Juon.
Stray Souls.
Stray Souls. Stray freaking Souls. I was like, Souls. That has something to do with Souls. Yeah. You brought up some points that kind of made me like really upset about a whole other video game, but I didn't know if it would be like strong enough to be like I wish it was better.
Okay.
This might be like my
wooden spoons out.
This might be my 4th one. Okay, that video game may be my 4th one after this one, but this is gonna be the one that you gotta get your wooden spoon out and we gotta stir the pot on. The Last of Us.
Ooh, fuck.
Yeah. I was told. Let me give you okay. So here's the thing. My sister. The only reason why I played this game was because my older sister. She was like, oh hey, Netflix has a video game, or I'm sorry, a TV show coming out of The Last of Us. I have never played the video game. I'm not gonna play the video game. You should totally do it because you're into survival horror. I was like, okay, bet. So
okay.
So that's why I played the game. I have never played a video game on console before, except for like the old Sierra games where you're like walking around doing the like press spacebar, type in the word look, and it tells you what you're looking at,
Yeah.
Oregon Trail, okay? So
oh yeah, Oregon Trail is a classic. Don't you be dogging on that one.
I'm not dogging on it. I'm just saying, like, if it comes to video games on computers, that is where I come from, okay? I have never played a professional video game on a console before, okay? This is all new territory for me. So The Last of Us I'm playing it on console. I know it's a PS2 game, and I was struggling for like the first couple of weeks because the key commands are just all over the place, and my hand felt like a tarantula. Okay, like it was just doing all the things, and
PlayStation 3, by the way.
Right.
You said PS2.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. PlayStation. Yeah, some PlayStation. I didn't even get a PlayStation 3.
People's already blowing up the comments right now.
Yeah, right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm being a professional, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Here was my experience with The Last of Us. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'm curious about this one now.
The problem with the whole game as a whole is that you're playing to see what happens next in the story.
That is true. I didn't even look at that one.
You're not playing to enjoy the game.
Oh shit, dude, you just opened up my mind.
Like, that's just kind of how I felt through the whole thing. Because, like, every single, like, I was complaining through, like, the whole thing. Like, I don't know. I know I've uploaded, like, VODs of me playing The Last of Us on my YouTube channel, and I don't know if, like, it's been so long since I've played it, and I've been cutting up, like, more and more of my VODs.
Right.
But, like, the thing is, like, I know that I talked about my experience thus far at the beginning of my streams, and I talk a little bit on the outro, but, like, I don't know if, like, throughout the whole game, my bitching and complaining just kept on escalating as I kept on going through the game. And I'm just saying my bitching and complaining came from one place, and that was the goalposts kept on moving. I'm playing to pretty much get to that next experience in the game. I'm saying experience as in not like gamer experience, like your character gains experience. I'm saying I'm here to enjoy and experience a piece of art, a storyline. I'm here to see what happens next in the story, but in order to do so, I have to get to that goalpost, and that goalpost gives me like that little kernel, and then it moves it to the next section. And I'm not playing it because and the thing is that I'm not enjoying the glue in between. Okay,
yeah. See, I never looked at it like that because coming from somebody who actually liked the game, now that you said that, now it kind of makes me depreciate the game now because
I'm so sorry to ruin this. I'm so sorry to ruin this for you.
You're fine.
And honestly, the thing is, it's like
because like I mentioned earlier in my thing was, when you were talking about the Town Light, is I don't play story mode games at all unless that catches my attention. And that one I have played start to finish. And now that you actually mentioned about the whole goalpost effect, that's literally what it was. I was like, well, what's going to happen next? And now that I'm thinking about it, there was no in between. It was this point A to point B to point C. And maybe around point B to point C, there was maybe 3 zombie kills and maybe 1 person killed there.
Yeah, maybe if you're lucky.
You opened my mind about that, dude.
I'm really sorry to do that because this river gets a little deep. Okay, like here's the thing. I talked to my coworkers about this because I was like, guys, I only have one video game. This is the video game that I am going to dog on my podcast, and they were like, dude, there's only 2 camps when it comes to The Last of Us, those who liked it and those who hated it. And they were like, but you should play the second one because the second one's better. I was like, I need to like spend some time where I consciously forgot what the fuck happened in the first game for me to probably appreciate the second one, you know? Because I'm already mad at the first one, and I just I just nailed it with like 1 bullet point. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 more bullet points to go through. So, bullet number 2.
Let's hear it.
Character mismanagement.
Explain.
We have an angsty teen. We have Tess, who's kind of like our what would you say, tutorial mode character, okay? And then we have the Fireflies as a group of people, like an incel group people. We have the government up above that. We have the infighting in between. Yeah. We're kind of like dancing between those 2 sects of the governments, like the anarchists versus the the government thing going on. Right. We've also got like groups of people that are doing their own thing out in America. We've got Bill, okay, who's there for like all of like a chapter, okay? But even like Bill's character was a fucking throwaway, okay? Like we see him for all of like, you know, a scene or two, and then after that it's like he wasn't even that great. He was practically worthless. Okay, I bring this up about Tess, okay? At the very beginning, it seemed to me, and I caught this on like about, I think after we meet the guy and she kills him because he sold the guns and the gear to the Fireflies, right? And then the Fireflies are like, yeah, we don't have your stuff, but we have this girl and we need you to get her to the capital to where the other Fireflies are, and then they'll take her from there, and after that you'll get your gear.
Right.
This is the whole point behind the game.
Oh shit.
But we don't even get there, okay? Now, here's the thing. We get the girl. Tess is like, let's just go do it. And Joel is like, he's begrudging, okay? He's got about like the personality.
He's a Debbie Downer.
Joel is practically like the personality of like a lemon. And I love that, okay? I love first-person characters, or characters who've got personalities of a lemon. Like James Sunderland, Henry Townsend, like shit's happening around his apartment. He's like, what the hell?
Right. Yeah,
what the hell?
Like, I always hated in movies, especially like zombie movies, where like the whole town's dying and like there's the whole outbreak and they already like announce like, oh, this is a zombie apocalypse. And then like 2 hours within the movie, they're like, did you hear that? What was that? I'm like, Jesus Christ, did you just hear somebody screaming in the other room? Obviously it's a fucking zombie, dude. Like,
yeah, man. And what's the problem with Tess here is that Tess gets thrown away so quick. And the thing is that there's a terminology for this, and it happens in television. I have a prime example of it, and in fact, it happened 3 times in a row. It's called fridging. Have you ever heard of fridging?
I have not.
Fridging is a plot device that happens where a character dies to, it's when a character is killed to specifically cause anguish to the hero. Okay?
Yeah.
So when Tess dies, I don't know about you, but I felt like after Tess was like, okay, let's go do this thing and then we'll call it quits, I felt like, I don't know why there was like sexual tension between Joel and Tess there for a second there. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I felt like there was like flirtatious like energy there. And I was like, okay, cool, awesome. Like, and Tess kind of proved to be a badass in the tutorial mode, so I was just ready for her to be a part of the storyline. And like, I know that Ellie comes along, like, who cares? But like, as you can tell, I love children. But you get to the capital, and Tess is like, okay, so the Fireflies are dead. We came here for no reason, and... Well, how about this, Joel? You go take her to, you know, your friend Bill. I'll hang back and try to keep the government people from breaking in. And so by the time you get to the top floor, you see her dead.
Yeah.
Right? And so Joel and Ellie have to escape the Capitol building. You do so. And there's a moment where Ellie brings up what happened to Tess. And Joel says, we're not talking about it. Don't talk about it. Don't bring it up. She's not worth it anymore. She's dead. And there's nothing we could do about it. And I'm sitting here going like this. What the fuck is wrong with Joel here? Like, I know that, like, at the very beginning of the game, I personally felt feelings because, like, when his daughter died, I was like, holy shitballs, I haven't felt, like...
Right off the rib, too.
I haven't felt emotions like that since, like, Ori and the Blind Forest, okay?
Yeah.
And that's, like, a kiddies game, okay? And it told a beautiful story without, like, using words. And I'm just dumbfounded that it took a woman to die for Joel to pull up his big boy pants and go, okay, I guess I'll get you to the Fireflies.
Now
like,
we do
what?
this.
Yeah, like it was very, very weird. An example of fridging in television goes all the way back to the 80s. There was this TV show called Star Trek: The Next Generation. Season 3, there's an episode called Ensign Ro. It introduces a character named Ensign Ro. And she kind of becomes a little bit of a main character. She comes into the fold for that whole season.
Okay. Yeah.
At the end of the season, Captain Picard sends her on an away mission that is supposed to be top secret, that only she's supposed to be doing, right? And she's like, oh yeah, okay, Captain Picard. So she like teleports out, right?
Yeah.
And come to find out, she went and defected to go. Now, mind you, the demographics here is that there's Starfleet, there's the bad guys, and then there's like these people who are like the Fireflies. They kind of like, they've been trying to make the bad guys lose, but they're also not friends with. They're doing their own thing, okay? But they're causing wreck and havoc and things like that, right? So since she's from Starfleet, she's supposed to be going on a secret mission to infiltrate the bad guys, and she goes, yeah, I'm not doing that, and she joins the terrorist group, right?
Yeah.
So Captain Picard feels betrayed. He's like, yeah, fuck Ensign Ro. And then you fast forward to, I think, like DS9, okay, which is like the next TV show.
Right.
And Ensign Ro's not brought up ever again, but then there's an episode where I believe Worf or Chief O'Brien finds out that Ensign Ro, who they served prior with in that last show, might have died in a battle somewhere, okay?
Right.
Fast forward 20 fucking years later in real time. We're watching an episode of Star Trek Picard, season 3, and Captain Ro, I think it's Captain or Commander Ro, shows up on the view screen, and I pause the TV show, and I just start bawling my eyes out because it's Ensign Ro from 20 years ago of my life. I'm 35, so like I was like 5 years old when this woman was on television, and I'm like sitting here going like, this woman's been missing in my life for 20 years, and she just pops up on the screen like, haha, how's it going, everybody?
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I was 15 when she disappeared. Point is like, short math. And so anyway, like the thing is that she shows up, she's there for the one episode, and then she finds out that the terrorists for that particular season, okay, because like, you know, the bad guys always change. She finds out that the bad guys are on her starship, and she's like, I only know one way of making sure that the bad guys don't infiltrate your starship, Captain Picard. So thank you for everything that you've done. Oh, by the way, there's a whole scene where Captain Picard and her hash it out.
Oh shit.
Because Captain Picard was like, you betrayed me. And she's like, no, you betrayed me. And I did what was right, you know? She was like, she was standing up for herself. She's like, you didn't give me a choice.
Right.
I didn't want to do that mission. You told me to do that mission. I wanted nothing to do with this. You told me to be, you know, anyway. She's just like, at the end of the day, she like had this whole argument where she was like, I am not the perfect character for you. You know, she has that kind of like moment where she like speaks to herself, like she speaks for herself for the past 20 years. And I'm like, yeah, Ensign Ro, fuck that man, you know? Like, you know, Captain Picard was kind of a piece of shit back then.
Right.
Anyway, she says to Captain Picard on screen at the very end, she's just like, I'm sorry, but this is the only way that we can fix this. Or this is the only way I know how to help you. And she crashes her starship, her starship into her starship, which then leads it to explode.
Right.
And Captain Picard's like, okay, well now I need to do everything that I can to make Ensign Ro's death not meaningless, because she just sacrificed herself for the greater good. Why does it take a woman to sacrifice themselves for a man to sit there and say, now I have something to do. Like, I hate that fucking shit, man. Like, they did it with Joel and Tess, and like, honestly, if I was Joel, I would have told Ellie, peace, bitch, and just walked away. Like, I would not have had wasted my time. I spent 20 fucking hours with Ellie, okay? That's a lot of babysitting time, and I did not get paid.
Bitch ass.
I did not get paid for any of that, okay? Like,
oh man.
Another thing that I have with The Last of Us that was a huge is that there's only 4 types of zombies.
Yeah, that is like the clickers were a thing, and they were like, "Fuck yeah, let's do this" throughout the whole game. Like the clickers was a huge one. Like, don't get me wrong, love the idea of them, but like, okay, dude, like, I get it. On the 7th level, we're still dealing with them.
It was like the combination of the ones that look like the flower things.
Yeah.
And then there was like the ones that like aren't quite there yet. And then there's the big blobby guy.
I forget all their names, I'll be honest. I just remember the clickers because that was
I remember there was a 4th one in there somewhere. I think it was like a super big blobby guy. Like, I can't remember the exact.
The one thing that I gotta respect to the game though is introducing the clickers, and may I remind you, I believe, I might be off on this, but I believe the game came out in 2013 on the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
The idea of the clickers in a zombie apocalypse was awesome, man. Like, I do agree with them on that, but like you said, there was so little amount of I guess I could want to say is normal zombies, so everything was just clickers, and I was like, okay, like after the 7th one, I kind of get bored of the same fucking shit.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't want to sound biased here, because if you think about it, zombie apocalypse, they're all the same. They're all fucking zombies that wants to come after us. But like, when you introduced me to a newer generation of a zombie that nobody has ever done, I love it. But like, put something else there to not just them. And that's how it was. It was just clickers throughout the game.
And also, like, you know, if we're gonna like be a little bit as non-biased as possible, like even Silent Hill, you know, 2, Silent Hill 1, there's not very many monsters per se, but every monster has a place. Like, you never see the sewer monsters.
No.
You never see the sewer monsters in Silent Hill 1 in anywhere other than the sewers. The monster, like the monkey monsters, I don't know what you call those things, but the monkey monsters, they're only in Old Town.
Yeah.
You know? And like the nurses were only in the hospital.
The hospital.
You know? Like, there's a time and place for everything, and you can be aggressive or non-aggressive where you place your pawns at on the board, you know what I mean? So it's not that it's not doable, it's just that I'm sitting here going like this. Really? Like, there's so many other like video games that are like playing with less technology, and yet they were able to pull it off and keep things fresh and entertaining, because you knew, like, if I have to go back through the sewers one more freaking time, like, you know what I mean? Oh, and like the dogs. The dogs were running around, the birds were flying around, but those were kind of like all over the place, you know? So it's just like,
it's just a filler.
You get the remix. You get the remix, you know? And like, The Last of Us just could not figure that part out. And the last but not least part of it, this is my last bullet point on The Last of Us, is that there was so much stealth moments where there are no stealth moments that shined too bright, but not often enough. And I'm saying the moments that are like the part where Bill and Joel are pushing the car and Ellie's in the driver's seat, and you're having to, you know, do the thing, but you're also having to stop and, you know, murk the monsters off to the side. That was tricky, but it's kind of like in Dead Space where you're doing the asteroid shoot thing. Right? And like, that's a fun little like moment, because you've got so many other things that are about to happen afterward, you know? It's like that little moment shines so much for me personally, because it's like, it's so off the wall and different from the rest of the game that like, why is the whole game stealth? Like Batman did like literally The Last of Us is like playing Batman Arkham Asylum without Batman, without an asylum, and no Arkham. Like it's literally just stealth, okay? Like I could play the whole game in a crouch mode and win the whole thing.
Literally, because like me being me, like I'm not a stealth gamer at all.
Me either.
And you know, like you guys would know is I don't play any stealth games. Like the stealthiest game I could say I play is probably like Hunt Showdown.
Yeah.
But even with that, is you still have options. Where it's like in Last of Us, don't get me wrong, you still also have options, but it was surrounded by just stealth. Like at the end of the day, I felt like I was trying to play Metal Gear Solid because like, and don't get like, and it's just like, bro, you're in a fucking zombie apocalypse. Like, don't get me wrong, I know that you're not gonna sound off car alarms all the time and do shit, especially in real life. But like, dude, there's kind of like what you said. There's a time and a place. And when I'm just fucking crouching around, like I'm in the Jurassic Park scene where they're like, you know, in the kitchen crawling, and that's the whole game, the shit gets old, dude. I want to fuck some zombies up. Like, you're in a zombie apocalypse. Why the fuck am I crouching?
Yeah, because there's actually a whole scene. There's a whole scene where I'm in a building. I think it's Tess and myself and Ellie. And there's a whole scene where I was running around aimlessly with like monsters just chasing me down. And I was like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do because I screwed this up. And I didn't realize I had to be stealthy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was just, it was a whole,
annoying.
It was a whole feeling where I was sitting here going like this, like, what? Is this the game? There's no way that this is the game, right? I can't imagine how you make a movie or a TV show off of this. Like, you literally have to take just the cutscenes and say, okay, here's your movie.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what makes it unfortunate is that, like, the whole game could be wrapped up with less gameplay. You know? Another fun one was, but and like going back to the characters, I cared more about the two teenager characters, the teenager kid and like the little brother.
Yeah.
I actually felt, again, mismanagement of characters. I felt like they should have stuck around a little longer. I was sad that they had to go. I wanted everybody else. It's so sad that I wanted everybody else to stay except for Ellie and Joel, you know, to at least have something called an emotion, you know?
Oh, yeah. And my thing, too, is I'm at least going to bring this topic up real quick, at least in my behalf of Last of Us. Those of you that played, like, the OG one, I'm not going to get into too much detail of this just because this is kind of off topic. But, bro, the multiplayer in that game was so awesome. I missed the multiplayer, and the fact that they were going to bring it back and then they were like, nah, never mind, you fucked up. I hate you, Naughty Dog. Seriously. Like, you fucked that up. It was so good. Oh my god, that's what sold me, because after I played the game, I played the multiplayer, and dude, it was awesome. they nailed that. And that's the thing, too, is like, this is the only thing I'm going to say about the multiplayer, is like you could go through both parts of it. Like you said, the game is all surrounded by stealth. The multiplayer, you have motherfuckers shooting each other in the middle, going ham, executing each other, and then you have people on the side who's like, okay, plant bomb here, okay, get behind the team. And it's like, god damn, dude, it was so, I can't tell you how many times I was like aiming in a scope at somebody, and then somebody comes up behind me, straight hits me with a bat and just murders me. I'm like, what? And like I mentioned before, is the multiplayer was kind of like a search and destroy. So once you're out until next round. You can't respawn. And that was so awesome, dude. And it was the Fireflies against, I forget who it was, but there was another. But it's Fireflies.
It was probably like the other like faction in the game, like whatever they are.
You don't get to pick the team. It's like your Fireflies this round, and then once you join another lobby, you might be this team. But still, it's so cool, dude. It was.
That's another thing that I felt like was really mismanaged, was like the Fireflies, because like throughout the whole game, like picking up like the little coins that have like the people's names on it. And then it's like, okay, cool, I got, you know, John McGillicuddy's coin, but that doesn't mean anything because by the end of the damn game, like, no one cares.
I at least want to bring that up before I get to my last one real quick, is the ending. What the fuck? I didn't like it at all. He like looked at her and he goes, what does he say? Let's go home or something. And it just turns black screen. And it's like, so you did all that for fucking nothing. I like literally, it's like as long as fucking Red Dead Redemption when that was out. And it was like, so I played, just like you said, 20 hours of this game just for a black screen. And then it made you have that reassurance of, oh, they're going to make a second one, which they did. But may I remind you, they made a second one like 7 fucking years later, not like back to back. And don't get me wrong, I understand game production, I understand it takes time, especially in a long story mode. But when it takes 7 fucking years, actually, I think it was a little bit longer. I don't know, I may be off, but still, like, it wasn't back to back. Like, there was like, is there gonna be a Last of Us 2? And I was like, hell, honestly, I don't want to. I'm kind of like in your boat. Like, I honestly, I actually never played the second one. I know snippets of it, and there's a reason why I'm not playing the second one.
Oh.
It pisses me off. It pisses me off. It's really bad.
Oh.
but
because you know, like the ass end of like The Last of Us, they make you think like between a cutscene and the next scene over that Joel's dead, and so you're playing as Ellie for like.
Oh, so you know.
What?
Wait, what did you say?
Well, so like there's a scene where like Joel like falls and he has like a stick that goes through his stomach, and they're like trying to leave like the university or wherever.
Oh, okay.
And so then the next scene is where Ellie is like shooting like a rabbit in the snow, and you think this whole time like, holy shit balls, Joel's dead. So you're playing as Ellie for like a whole scene, right? And then like you get kidnapped by who you thought was your helper friend who's like a stranger.
No, it was.
And then it cuts back, and Joel's alive, and you are like, oh, thank God, because if I had to play as Ellie for the rest of this game, I was gonna scream. Like, you know, yeah. I don't know what happens in The Last of Us Part 2, but like I told my friend at work when I told him like I was gonna talk about this on this podcast here, I told him like. He said like, oh, you should play the second one, it's a lot better. I was like, okay, the fact that you said that the second one's better than the first one doesn't make me want to play the second one. I think I need time to pass, like 10 months or so.
Actually, are you actually planning on playing the second one? Because if so, I don't want to spoil anything for you then.
Okay, so I can't tell you the future. It could be a yes, but right now I'm sitting at a no. I don't want to. I need time for my brain to like forget all the details. I'm trying to data dump every inch of the experience. And again, it's not that it's not a good game. It's a good game, beautifully architected, beautiful like sceneries. I get it.
Oh yeah, like, beautiful, great.
Sonically beautiful. I'm just saying like the things that I've talked about here is like for me. Give it like a 1-star review.
Oh shit.
And I'm very passionate about that. I don't think there's any way that anyone can sway me to give it a 2. I'm
me
just
personally,
saying, like,
just because the multiplayer, dude, 5. Like not the overall, just the multiplayer, 5.
Oh well, I've never done the multiplayer. If it was just
the game, 3.
But 3. Yeah, a 3. Okay.
No, what would you?
Yeah, I think time has to pass long enough, Dom, just like you in your game, that like Fatal Frame, that like you kind of need a data dump, like the experience, to then kind of go like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm not. Then I didn't know if he was or not because I was also gonna hurry up and talk about.
So I'm on a maybe. I'm on a maybe.
If you decide not to, I will tell you about them. But all I'm gonna say is, me personally, no, the second one's not better than the first one because it's bullshit. It's another bullshit game with another the stupidest fucking ending ever. And I'll just leave it as that. And if you ever want to know, then we could talk outside the podcast on that because, yeah, man, you're gonna be pissed.
Oh.
But on to mine though. My fourth.
Yeah.
my fourth and final one, and some of you may not agree with this. One of them being right beside me, and I'm sorry, but if you decide to fight me, I won't hit back because I fully deserve it. But I'm not gonna go into too much detail because this is gonna come up in our later podcast on it when the date comes up. Mine? You ready?
I'm ready.
Silent Hill 4.
Oh.
Not a fan. Not a fan, man. They could have been so better. Let me explain though. Like I said, I'm not gonna go into too much detail because obviously us being Silent Hill, I don't want to say Silent Hill podcast. That was totally wrong. Basically, we're
fans.
Talking
we're
about
fans.
talking about the game in sequence of when they came out.
Sure.
So I'll go in more detail when we actually talk about the date of the game. But the detail I at least want to get into the game. The story mode, fantastic. Loved it. All right, on paper, on game, amazing. Had me edge of seat since the start of game, since the ending of game. I loved it.
What a great mystery, right? For me, that was like the first time I ever had a survival horror mystery game opens up ever so slowly throughout the whole game.
I'll talk about that part later. I was gonna mention something, but dude, awesome, nailed it. And the thing that gives me chills is how they brought up the serial killer back in Silent Hill 2. Yeah. When you're in the elevator doing the quiz game or whatever.
Not even the elevator. Before that.
What?
Yeah. So. In the apartment complex.
Oh no, I don't know that.
In the trash can when you do the trash bin.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the bat. So you have to go outside. You have to get the coin, right?
You're talking about the newspaper, then, right?
The newspaper, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so that it gave me chills because I played Silent Hill 2, then 4, and I was like, wait, they mentioned about this game and the killer way before the game was out, because you gotta remember, they made 3 in the middle there too.
Yeah.
That's clever from them. So the story mode on par. Loved it, like you said. They couldn't have done it any better, man. My thing though was honestly the maps. Okay, and this is how I'm gonna explain it. The subway was alright, not bad. The orphanage was awesome, dude. Beautiful environment. Made me felt like I was actually at an orphanage. Made me felt like there was just something like I hate to say it like this, but like just like dead children just watching. Because those of you that know Silent Hill 4, the orphanage burned up. Yeah. And stuff, and killed a lot of kids and stuff. So it had that feeling there. The other 2 levels, not a fan of, man. The asylum fucking sucked. I ain't gonna lie though, the twin heads, scariest fucking monster to this day. All right, the fact that like I'm used to Silent Hill, man. You hear the static coming on, they're chasing after you, dude. No, the twin heads, they just sit there and just until you move close. I'm like,
and you know what they're saying, right? Have you ever heard what they say?
Wait, so when they're pointing,
something? Yeah.
What? Dude, you just gave me chills, bro.
So when they're pointing and they're looking at you like, you know, like this, you can hear them say, it's like they're pointing at you and they're saying wisdom seeker.
What the fuck?
Right?
Okay.
Like
what's the story behind that though?
So what? Okay, so out of the 21 sacraments, which one is Henry?
He's the 21, right? He's the last one.
What's his name as the 21st sacrament?
Oh, bro, I'm drawing a blank then. Was it?
Okay, so your sidekick, your side bitch, your side character, she's the new mother.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my god.
So when they're standing there and they're pointing at you before they even attack you, they're going like this.
Dude, that's creepy as fuck. I thought about getting them tattooed on me, by the way, because they're whoever designed that character, A fucking plus. But no, that's what I won't ever forget. My first time looking into them, I actually paused the game. I was like, nope, because that's what I did. I turned around, I just saw them going like this, and I was like, what the fuck? It's eerie.
I like that. Here's the thing about the map system. Wait, is the problem with the map, or is it the problem with the particular levels?
So it's kind of both, man. Like when we're talking about the asylum, and I guess you could kind of say the city, right? Would you say city?
Yeah. So there's like,
Yeah.
so the level design goes, if I remember correctly, it goes subway, forest, city,
That's
apartment,
it, city, then it's okay.
and then the apartment, and then the hospital, back to the other 4 again.
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna get to that part. That was on my list right there.
Oh.
That's
Okay,
what
so anyways,
pisses me off.
put a pin in that. So
Yeah.
the map system, right, for all those 5 levels, here's what I liked about it. You didn't have to actively go and find a map, because Henry was always taking notes.
That is true. That is true. I didn't think of that.
You know? I thought that was
Yeah.
like one thing, and then when you go back through the game again, you see the gray outline of like where you had been, but then they start
Oh,
filling
yeah.
in with the new details if you go back into those rooms. So you kind of had like in the back of your head, like, okay, I don't want to go to this part of the map because that
Right.
is towards this place, and then that, and then that, and then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I liked that, but I didn't, I don't know why my brain just kind of like got derailed. I feel
No, you're
like
fine.
it was just like one less thing one had to find, and it was kind of like, oh well, this is different. Silent Hill 4 is
Right.
different on so many different levels. You know,
Oh, yeah,
first
and I respect
person
it for it.
perspective, the inventory
Yeah.
system, and the mapping itself. No flashlight and no radio. 5 things
Right.
that are like so vastly different than the rest of the whole series. And it's like, honestly, like I kind of like the mapping. I like the fact that you
dig
didn't
it.
have. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I kind of digged those mix-ups, because it kind of gave like a. So what is? How do we do this then? You know?
Now, with all that though is like, so like the mapping is amazing, the story mode is amazing, but the reason why this is mainly on my list though is because I want to say after the subway, after the orphanage / forest, is kind of when I was feeling the game drag. And the best way I could think of this is like they kind of was just putting shit together just to put it together, as in how can we make this game longer. And I noticed while going into like the city / the asylum, there was this lack of detail, lack of everything. And the point that where we put a pin at was, okay, so your typical Silent Hill game, you know, you start somewhere, you go to, I don't know, I'm just gonna skim through shit, but let's just say the hospital, then you go to a school, then you go to this, and then that's it.
It's like
I
feel like every Silent Hill game is like, let's spin a roulette and like see what the place is that we land on, and then we'll
Right.
take that and put that into the storyline.
Right.
Yeah.
And when it came to 4, dude, I felt like they did like, if it was just a one complete, as in you were here, okay, beat that level, okay, now it's the orphanage, now you beat that level, now it's the city, okay, you beat that level. I felt like if it was that, and then on the final level, that was that, that was the game, I would have been completely fine. This game wouldn't even be on this list right now. The fact that somebody had the idea to smoke crack is the best way I could think of. Is to smoke crack, and they were like, guys, we need to think of how can we make this game longer and
We gotta
last
pad a little
about
bit more.
these-
We gotta pad a little bit
Yeah.
more, guys.
Somebody was just like, hold on, give me like 10 minutes. Went outside, smoked crack, and was just like, we take the same levels again, but you gotta go through all of them again, but in nightmare mode, technically. You might as well say that would be like nightmare. And then when you go all the way back to the beginning, then that's when the game ends. And it's like, why, like, after, like, I'm not even lying to you, dude. Once I reached to the what I thought was the final part, and then I found out they had to go through every single map again, but backwards, that's when I was just done with the game. I shit you not, just to beat the game, I actually just looked up YouTube tutorials on how to get to the next part, and I just kept on, like, I looked on my second monitor over here and just honestly copied what the dude was doing, pause this game, because I was just so done.
You know
was
what?
so bullshit to
You
me.
live in a time, Dom, where you have that benefit. I did not. Me and Travis, this was our first video game we ever played together.
Oh shit. Oh yeah,
So
that's right. I forgot.
So
about
he was
that.
running the game, and I was sitting back connecting the clues, and I had like the laundry list of like the names next to the numbers and like all the things. And I was like, huh, I'm not understanding this. Like, there's a gap of like people who have been killed and all these things. Anyway,
Right.
I don't know. You know me. I saw some symbolism in the second half of the game, and by that I mean
Okay.
like, you know, we'll talk about that later. But the thing is, it's like I get the frustration because it is padding. I get the frustration because I myself, like, I didn't see, like, I don't know, like I saw like kind of like a remix in my first impression of it. I was like, oh, remix. Again, I don't have YouTube as a tool or Google
Right.
or anything like that, so we're just going
Right.
at this blindly. But like at the same time, you know, like, I don't know how to say this, but like I had never played a game where you go through the first 5 levels and then you go back to level 1 and you have to go back to the next, and like everything that you did to interact, like I don't know if you know this, but like, little tidbit here, when you're in the sewer system and you go through the door, like, okay, so you know, like Cynthia's down on that side of the
Right.
tube, and you have to go down the opposite side, and that door's open.
Right.
And you go down the ladder well, go over, come up, or I did it backwards. If you go down, the door is locked. If you go with Cynthia through the train station and you go
Yeah.
to that door, and then he goes, Cynthia? Like, he's like,
Yeah.
he's a fucking lemon of a character, okay? Like, he has
Oh,
like no
yeah.
emotion. The guy's like waking up after going through a tunnel, and he's just like, what the hell? Like,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
like,
dude. Especially in
this
your
is just another
apartment.
day for Henry Townsend, okay?
But the thing that I got
The thing is
respect
that
for
if
the
you,
game,
I'm sorry,
though-
I was gonna say, if you go down the ladder well, go back over, up the ladder well, and unlock that door stays unlocked.
What?
So when you go back through the game a second time with the second part of the map, that door shows up as unlocked.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. To me, I was like, okay, when Travis and I found this out, we were just sitting here going like this. So what else were we supposed to like set ourselves up
No
for success
shit.
for in the past that we probably didn't do today? And I'm gonna give you a heads up about the mapping system. The most difficult map that I felt was really hard, and still to this day really hard for me to navigate, is the city, or
Yeah.
the city one. Because, like, you know, there's so many, like, even on your second way going through it, like, it is kind of hard to figure out, like, what
Dude,
exactly
the
you're supposed to be
enemies
doing.
and the way and
Yeah.
everything else. Yeah.
Especially when you have what's his nuts coming after you. He's like,
Yeah.
you know, like, it's.
I hate that motherfucker. But no, and that's another thing too, is like the sound visuals and everything else.
Mhm.
I'm like, what the fuck? But the one thing I do gotta give respect to the game is how they brought modern life into a horror. Like when you're back
Yeah.
at the apartment and you could look out the window and it's like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah. The
That's
voyeurism.
just, that's wild. They did really excellent on it, and like I said, I'm not gonna get into too much detail. This was just a little bonus, just because we'll talk about this later. The story mode was awesome, nailed that. It was great. The maps were cool. You pissed me off about how you had to go back through them again. That was a waste of my time, I felt like, but it made sense though. At least I'll at least give them that. It did make sense. Well, when you go, especially when you go back to the apartment and then you see, I forget his name, but the serial killer,
Walter Sullivan.
Walter Sullivan, especially when you see him as a kid,
Yeah.
like at least it made sense. Now, I ain't gonna lie, though, the parts that didn't make sense is when you were going backwards through the city, through the asylums. I'm like, okay, you're literally just filling in. Like, god damn it, just let me kill the motherfucker. And that's all I gotta say about Silent Hill 4.
Can I
though,
add
bro.
that, like, for Silent Hill 4, the things that, like, I wish they could have done better were just a couple.
Absolutely.
No offense to Kerry Yamaoka, I put him on a pedestal next to Bill Leeb and Reese Fulber, from Frontline Assembly. But the thing is that I wish that there was like a little bit more love and care on like just 2 specific monsters.
I feel like
First-
I know the one.
Which one?
The hatchet thing that you said, because the
Oh, no. I don't care. No. I don't care about the ghosts. The ghosts were fine.
No, not the ghosts. The like tall.
Oh, the nurses.
Yes.
The nurses that burp.
Yes, that. I could not.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. They literally could have like just repurposed some like, you know, feminine monstrous sound and also you probably didn't see this coming from a mile away, but like the first monster you meet are the dogs.
The dogs, yeah.
Why do they sound like tigers?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get into too. They
like
have
what
this,
is that
like,
all about?
Yeah. No, terrible fucking doing on that
like,
too.
What?
And then
you nailed it in Silent Hill 3.
Oh, yeah.
They nailed it in Silent
yeah.
Hill 1. I just don't understand why they couldn't like get it right on the third try. Like I don't think they've had Silent Hill dogs since then. Not in Origins. Not in Downpour.
No, they didn't. They did have it in Homecoming.
And in Homecoming they did.
Yeah, Homecoming.
But those were more proper, like
right.
More proper. I think that like yeah, you probably just skipped like that's like the only one I could think of since Silent Hill 4. Yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 1-star review on the sound effects on those two monsters. Like, why? You know what I mean? Just why? It doesn't make sense.
I don't know what stars this would add up to, but if you want my like overall star rating on this, and if somebody has free time to add this up, you can. But with Silent Hill 4, I would say story mode, amazing. Map fucking sucks. I don't even want to give it a star. Sound
it was a design choice. It was a design choice.
Dude, I'm surprised you even gave that one a 1 because yeah, when I heard them burping and then that wow, I'm like,
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But no, besides all that, oh yeah, and one more thing I want to get into real quick actually because I forgot all about that. The inventory system. Cool little change up. I like it because unlike Travis, who has the biggest pockets I have ever seen into a man, who could fit a whole ass TV, toaster with guns and fucking pipes and everything.
Times 4 televisions later, okay?
Yeah, I do respect the fact that you can't carry everything on you. The one thing I did find annoying though playing the game is that I can't tell you how many times, just kind of like how you brought up in other games that you were wishing that were better in here, how many times I had to go do this, oh, I forgot, I gotta run back to the apartment, go grab this key because I dropped it, and then fucking go back to do this, oh, there's a monster there, or a ghost, and you can't fucking kill a ghost in that game. Makes sense without the sword. So then I'm like, shit, now I'm stuck, I keep on dying. So then I go back to the apartment, grab the fucking sword or candle, and then I found out that you can't really use all those candles because God forbid your fucking apartment gets raided by ghosts, so you gotta use the fucking candle. Like, it's just a clusterfuck. Again, I'm not dogging on the inventory system. I respect it. It's just they could have did a little better with it because the fact that I went to the apartment 85,000 times when I should have been on the next level pisses me off.
You may have respected the inventory system, but the inventory system clearly did not respect you, man.
Fuck no. I can't tell you how many YouTube tutorials I actually watched until like they were like, oh yeah, put all this shit in the inventory box because that won't come out until literally the ending of the game. So when you do before you hit the ending, then they're like, then you could drop all this stuff and pick all that stuff up. And I'm like, see, that helps. But just like you said, if I didn't do that with YouTube, holy fuck, I'd probably be still trying to beat the game today.
Imagine just going in blind with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, you know, the more brains you had in the room, the better off you were gonna survive. It was just like a mass puzzle for Travis and I.
Oh yeah,
you know?
and it's funny though because actually I played that game when I was a kid, so even before YouTube as well. But the problem is I was too much of a bitch. I didn't even make it past the subway part, and I rented it from a movie store. So that was kind of a cool childhood core for me. Yeah, I remember seeing the dog and I called it quits right there. I was like, nope, I'm done. Wasted my mom and dad's money to rent this game for 5 days when I couldn't even play it for 1.
Oh wow, holy cow, man. Okay. This is my bonus one. I didn't write down any notes on
Oh,
this.
I didn't even know you had a bonus one.
I have a bonus one. I'm actually I'm gonna go in on this one. You kind of reminded me because of Stray Souls. Tormented Souls.
Don't even get me started. I couldn't even finish that game either. I played it because of you. I'm not blaming you or anything. When I saw you live streaming that, I was like, I honestly, I didn't watch your live stream just because I was like, I need to play this for myself. Like, I watched little tidbits of your live stream, but I was like so into it. I'll let you start off the conversation, but that game was
okay. So this is the elevator pitch for Tormented Souls. Okay, I might be saying Stray Souls and Tormented Souls because they're both all about souls.
Oh yeah.
I might even say Soul Suspect, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Tormented Souls. Okay. So if I screw it up from this point on, y'all know what song, y'all know what video game I'm talking about. Tormented Souls was a struggle best for me just as well. The only difference is that I like just kind of buckled in and was just like, you know, like I just went in on it. Like I just, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I just went balls to the wall. So the elevator pitch for Tormented Souls is that it is a new classic version of what Silent Hill and Resident Evil gameplay would be if it was done by a third party.
Right.
Okay, you are some girl who gets a letter in the mail, and you're told to come to this hospital in the middle of nowhere. You go there and you get hit up beside the head. You find out that you've been put into a bathtub. Yeah, there are boobies, and like honestly, that was the first video game boobies I've ever seen in my life. Okay, like I mean, I've seen I have pushed Lara Croft up into a corner enough times in my what do you say, N64 graphics, okay, like felt face, you know, graphics that
Bro, I gotta cut in here real quick just because I remember my first time seeing that scene, and this was funny as fuck because I believe I went to go grab a beer and like the cut scene was kind of taking too long, so I even told my chat, I was like, hey chat, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go grab a beer. I swing around and I see on my second monitor that, and I like instantly slap my keyboard because I didn't want to get banned on Twitch.
You wouldn't get banned, man.
Yeah, I found out later after that because I was like so paranoid. I typed it in and found out like if it's just little snippets, it's fine. And I was like, oh okay. But I was like, what the fuck?
And not to complain, I mean she has a nice set. So you find out that she missing an eye, and you don't know why. And so. She's also afraid of the dark, so you can't survive in the darkness. So you have, you know, just your clothes on, and you gotta go figure out life in this asylum or mental hospital, whatever the fuck this thing's played. It's such a weird level. So it is broken up much like a Resident Evil game, and the fault that I had initially was the map system, just like you in Silent Hill 4. The problem with the map system was that like it was useful for like if you knew where you were generally, then it worked for you. But if you didn't know where you were on the map, you'd just be looking at like a piece of paper like this. Yeah. And it'd be like, you know, little squares, and then nothing would be signed, nothing would be flashing, nothing would be telling you, indicating to you, like, you know, I'm used to like when you look at a map, it gives you like a little like triangle piece that kind of gives you an idea of like where you're facing. This game doesn't even hand you that. There's nothing. It gives you like a symbol of a key, but then like you don't even know it's a key until like way later on in life, and like even that is like hours later. It's 2023. How the fuck am I playing a next gen video game and the characters are talking and they're like this?
Yeah, for real, dude.
the whole thing is being, you know, like voice acted
Really
by
Stray Souls.
but yeah, and this is like Straight Souls. I'm surprised that Tormented Souls launched and stuck around and
Oh
Stray Souls
yeah.
got the boot. I'm really surprised by that because like Tormented Souls had like nobody on it. Like there's like there's nobody shining on this project. They didn't have any like special
Oh no.
people on it.
No. No.
The monsters were menacing, but the problem with the monsters is that they OP'd the monsters and not the
yeah.
character. So even after you get like, and this is another problem with the game, is that like even like I'm used to being in a survival horror game, and I think that this is the problem with Silent Hill Homecoming for me is that what's his name? Alex. Alex is OP'd. And the problem with being in a survival horror game is that you should be afraid of every encounter that you get involved in. But you should be at least this far away from death, okay?
Right.
You know? Tormented Souls went, yeah, like we're making all the monsters faster than you. We're making them hit way harder than you can ever hit them. And even if you try button mashing, this bitch only takes like one swing and then it takes her like another 5 seconds to go, oh yeah, that's right, you press the X button again. You know?
Yeah.
And by that point, you're dead. Okay?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. There's that center balance of, you know, and that's exactly how I felt when I played it because it's just like, you just couldn't kill them. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to hack once and then instantly kill them. But then again, I don't want to just not be able to kill them. Even with the gun, I noticed that.
Yeah, the one thing that I noticed about Tormented Souls 2 is that like most horror games that I think have come out most of recent is that there's like a lack of a difficulty curve.
Mm-hmm.
You know, literally the difficulty curve just goes like that. You know, there is no like kind of like the game is giving you a little bit of an edge along the way. It didn't matter to me what items I picked up. I felt like no matter what, the game is against me, and not against me like in a good way, but more like this game's gonna fuck me up. Like there was a moment where I just stopped playing for like a week or two because I was just like, I need to figure out my game plan, because if I don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing, what's coming around the corner the next day, you know what I mean? And there's like 5 separate maps, and then there's like this whole other area that you don't even have a map, so best of luck to you. And the ending, okay, let me give you a heads up. I didn't know that there were 2 endings to this video game, and apparently the dev team was just like, well, so many people got the bad ending, we're just gonna make a sequel and base it off of the bad ending, since nobody got the good ending except for like the 5% who did. And here's why. I went to that fucking room, there's a monster that's on like the wall.
Yeah.
And so it prevents you from going forward, and then there's a big mother licker who's clobbing around you.
Right.
I don't have any like ammunition, and I can't beat the guy down with a stick. Right. You can't trust her for nothing. So apparently if you beat the big monster and then you whack the guy on the wall, you're supposed to go through the next door, and then there's like a knife there or something like that, and you're supposed to use the knife on your dead sister's body, who's been haunting you through the whole game. And behind her body is a VHS. If you know anything about the VHSs in this game, you're supposed to use it to go. This is like some Silent Hill Origins shenanigans. Yeah. You go into the VHS and you save your little sister. You bring her out of the VHS, and you both are supposed to escape together.
Oh my god.
Right. So there's like time travel involved. Anyway, nobody fucking did that. And so for me, I saw the dead sister's body. I was like this. Oh, okay. And I walked off. And like my ending, as well as like 95% of everybody else's endings, was that you get the final key, you unlock the door to the front of like from where you came in from, and then she like turns around and her eyes go, and like the ghost of your sister lunges after you.
Oh my god.
So now when you go watch Tormented Souls 2, the preview for this game, she walks into like a chapel and she's got her little lighter on her because I guess she lost her fucking flashlight.
I think
and
too.
the ghost of her sister is behind her. And I was like, oh, this is like one of those few games where like the bad ending is canon. I've never,
Right.
I don't think I know a game that has taken the bad ending and made it canon.
I actually seen that in your channel trailer. I know what you're talking about. I didn't know that was from that ending, so that's pretty cool. Because I know that jump scare actually got you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I use it still to this day as like a reel or something like that because I did not see that coming from a mile away.
The thing that pissed me off about the game, and maybe you could agree with it, is when I at least played Tormented Souls, was that you could pick up every single item that led you to the next area, but it was only used for this or that. And my thing is normally in a psychological horror game such as like Silent Hill 2, or no, sorry, I just meant to say Silent Hill also, is that like your normal horror game is like, okay, you're in this area, you pick up this key unlocks door 305, and that's where you progress on. And Tormented Souls, you could pick up 16 different clues and unlock this door, that door, this door, that door, that, and like I kept on getting lost that way, and that's why I didn't even play through the game, because in one area, I swear to God, I unlocked every single door, and it just led me to nothing. It wasn't like, oh, now you're progressing on within the game. No, here it was, it's like, no, you can unlock that door, and you got health. You unlock this door, and it's like, why am I unlocking doors after doors, solving clues when I'm not even getting through the game yet? Because actually, just like what you said, which I like, is that I was unlocking all these doors in the asylum. No, what I had to do was there's this hallway that you go through, and there's like a little save point, and then when you go through that hallway, that's when it opens up to that part.
Oh,
May I remind you, yeah, it's like right off the beginning. May I remind you, you didn't need no key for that door. You didn't need no puzzles for that door. So I was doing all these other doors and everything right off the bat to when this one was already unlocked, and that's just to progress on. And that's when I stopped the game right there, because that pissed me off, because I was just getting so overwhelmed of, why am I getting all these materials? Why am I unlocking and solving these clues when they are absolutely meaningless?
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, fuck this.
And
dude.
also, that game is notorious. I didn't realize until the very end that game is notorious of respawning monsters.
Really? I didn't even. Well, of course I didn't.
They will
play a
throw.
lot, but...
They will. There's only like a few like quote unquote safe spaces. But if there's a space where there was a monster and you killed it, you bet your butt the game will be like, this room that used to be a safe space, well, now we're throwing monsters into it. Best of luck to you.
That's fucking dumb.
And I didn't know this, but apparently in that game, when you get to the part where you find your sister's ghost haunting the hallways, all you have to do is go into another room, hang out there, turn around, go back into the, and she's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I could have I did so many things wrong in that game that now I'm sitting there going like this. Why? Like,
I didn't even play it.
But I didn't know. Like, I mean, the thing is, like, that game was like really difficult for me. I think it was most difficult because it had so many aspects of Resident Evil into it, as well as Silent Hill.
Yeah.
And like Fatal Frame and like all the other, like, you know, homages. It was homages. It was like little seasonings of everything else. I give it a 4. It's probably my highest. It's my highest game. I wish were better, because like it did what it is, and that is, you know, like a Silent Hill.
No, I will agree with you on that. Not the rating, but they did nail it with mixing Silent Hill with Resident Evil. And I know, like, some people would say that's not hard. A lot of people would say that's like impossible. But they did do a really good job at making it feel some parts Resident Evil like, and some parts definitely Silent Hill like.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
Absolutely. I just think that the combat was like really like like that's a design choice.
Man, there's so many puzzles because, like I mentioned earlier about opening all these doors and doing puzzles, like that was a game that you could go to A to D, back to B to fucking F, and it's like, but the real thing was if you didn't go A to D and then B to F, you actually just would have just went to A, B, and C, but you don't know that because just like you said, there's nothing that tells you that.
And the word of the day is moon logic.
Yeah, literally.
No, because and you know, like the thing is like the word lunacy comes from the word luna as in the moon.
Right.
And most women were called lunatics because they went through the phases of the moons, i.e., like, you know, their menstrual cycles. So anyway, it's a whole thing. Yeah, man. So that's my list. I even threw in a bonus. I didn't even think about talking about Tormented Souls until now, and I was like, holy shit.
No, I'm glad you did, because honestly, if I would have thought about it, I would have fucking added it. But that was a game I'm glad that was bad for me. I wouldn't even rate that game.
Yeah, man, and like here's the thing, to all of our guys and gals out there who are watching, if you also have a game that you wish were better and you want us to talk about it, please let us know in the chat box. Let us know in the show notes, in the Discord as well.
Yeah.
You know, have a conversation with us. We would love to have a spin on what games you think, whether or not we know much about it or not. We'll even probably read what you think about those games.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to mention better, too, for one of our bonus podcasts is those of you that always comment on our podcast and everything, we will go look out for that. And Sean and I talked about doing a bonus podcast about you guys. And that goes all the way back from our first podcast all the way to now, you know, just like on our recent podcast, we were talking about ghost stories. If you guys still have ghost stories, share them with us, and we would love to do a bonus podcast. And just like he said on this one, if you guys have games that you wish were better, share it with us, because you might get featured in our next podcast. Maybe a little shout out, like, you know, DDogCat36 said, blah, 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 and this is why, you know, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, and here's another thing, if you guys agree, disagree, or have comments about our video games that we selected, I would love to hear what your guys' well, anybody's comments are
I
about.
want to hear the rants of why that The Last of Us was and you're just
Come at me. I'm 35 years old. I've got nothing to lose. I'm a nobody on the internet. Don't worry about it.
People with me, they're like, Silent Hill 4 was the best, so you just hate it because you suck at life. I'll be like, you're right. I'm sorry. No, but
but you know what? I'm glad that we covered Silent Hill 4 as best as possible, and I throttled back as much of my no, this is my love. This is my first love.
Oh man.
Like, you can't talk about your first love and be like, oh, that person was a piece of shit. I mean, to be fair, the game's kind of shitty in its own right, and I agree with you on that, yeah.
But the story was so great.
Well, next time, what do you think about next time? Next time, a week from now. No, 2 weeks.
Yeah, March 16th.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you want me to go about that because you know what it is. Believe,
yeah.
right?
Oh shoot, that's right.
Yeah.
We are going. Here's the thing. So, D-Dog and I have decided that we are going to be doing we're gonna go by the release dates of each Silent Hill game, and the next one is coming out March 13th. It came out on March 13th. So by the time we pod, it'll be the 16th, which is fine. We'll just like round it off.
Oh yeah, that's like on Silent Hill 1, our very first podcast. You know, we did that one day earlier before it came out. So just with this one, you know, we're doing it 3 days after it came out. So we're there.
We're there. We're doing it. We're staying to a theme here.
Oh, sorry, that's March 15th when we go live. My bad. I said 16th. My bad.
It's because it's a Saturday. Yeah, we're going to be going over Silent Hill Downpour.
Right.
The contention is real.
Yeah. That one's going to be an interesting one, so make sure you guys look out for that. As he said, it came out March 13th, and we'll be live hopefully March 15th. Sorry, I said 16th, just because sometimes your boy works on Saturdays.
Yeah,
So,
for
just
sure.
like I
And
did
that's
today.
another thing is like we'll try to stick to a Friday, but if we can't, then we'll be here on Saturdays, and we'll do the same thing that we do every night here, everybody. Trying to survive, and don't forget to like, follow, and hit that subscribe button, and join the patronage. Every bit helps for DDogCat36 and myself. My name is Sean, and this guy over here.
I'm DDogCat/Dominic.
And we are going to be wishing you all the best till then. And we would also like to shout out our moderators who make sure our communities are safe from the evildoers out there on these Twitch streets. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Don't pollute. It's my thing. I don't know. I always do that.
Yeah, you're good.
But yeah, dude. We'll see you all next time. Peace.